This is a HeadGum podcast.
This week on the program, one of the most uncomfortably course-corrected ad campaigns in recent memory. It's Spider-Man. I'm Andrew Jupin. Sadak is ready.
Eric Siska.
Steve stole my thing. Chris Capp.
You were really going to do it?
Oh, yeah.
All right, I love it. And we love movies. Hello, everyone. Welcome to We Love Movies. Thank you for tuning in. As always, that is right. We're doing it. Sam Raimi's 2002 Spider-Man.
Yes.
Fucking still banging after nearly 20 years.
Unbelievable movie.
Mm-hmm. And what, like you mentioned at the top there, the original ad campaign, that first trailer, I think, had that robbery that was, there's the web between the World Trade
teaser
Center.
trailer and poster.
Yeah.
Can we get, it's been enough time. Can I maybe see the footage?
It's on YouTube.
The full footage?
Yeah.
All of it? Oh, okay.
Should we do a thing where we stop and watch it really quickly?
I've seen the teaser trailer.
Yes.
I thought there was part of the movie.
It's
not part of the movie.
It was never part of the movie.
The World Trade Center does appear in the film, though. It is reflected in Spider-Man's eye once he finally, I guess, suits up and jumps around. He doesn't fly.
Yeah, he does not fly.
Man, if you say the wrong thing about a superhero, you'll get fucking eviscerated.
Everybody walk on your tighten your assholes real quick.
He fucking comes out of his arms
he
and
glides
sticks.
a bit.
Yeah, a little bit of gliding. Yeah,
A bit of gliding.
Well, gliding is the big. The
Hobgoblin.
I was going to say Hobgoblin. Green Goblin. Holy fuck, folks!
Jesus, dude, you're going to be drawn and quartered.
I know.
What was it on? I think it was on a Melrose episode. I walked you guys through that. There's the Green Goblin,
right?
That's Norman Osborn. There's another Green Goblin that's Harry Osborn. He takes up the mantle from his father. Then you got the Hobgoblin running around.
And what's his deal? Hot dog vendor?
No, I think he's just a guy that's kind of like a fan of the Green. I'm not that super into spider lore. I know what he looks like, but I don't know his whole deal. And then, heaven forbid, you run into the Demo Goblin, who's a demonic Green Goblin.
An actual demonic.
He's an actual
goblin.
from like the bowels of hell.
Yes, from the bowels of hell. So you got the Demo Goblin.
So when 9/11 happened and all that, crash and fumble on the ground, it opened up a portal.
Exactly.
I mean, I like the hot dog vendor stream just because I like to think that's what happened to the guy in Sleepers when they crashed a car.
That big fat guy. They ruined his life.
Yeah, that's how he turned to villainy.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, because I rewatched that the teaser trailer on YouTube last night after the movie. What's kind of great about it is it's clearly not directed by Sam Raimi.
Oh, yeah.
And it actually looks like it was somehow directed by whoever put together the "you wouldn't steal a car, would you?" commercial. It has the exact same aesthetic, and it's just like dudes rob a bank and they're like, yeah, now we're getting away with it in this helicopter, and they're flying along, and then it's like, whoops, like the helicopter gets stuck in midair and starts getting dragged backwards. And then you see Spider-Man has made a massive web in between the two twin towers.
Yep.
And the helicopter's like hanging.
And look at that. He could stop the helicopter. He could have maybe stopped the plane. At least he should have tried.
He had science class that day.
Made a trampoline out of web at the bottom.
Man,
Dr. Connor needed him.
Yes, exactly. I got science class, and MJ wants to go to the park with me. I don't have time for this 9/11.
It's like how they didn't dismiss high schools when it happened. You just had to sit there, or they hid it from you until they told you at an assembly or something.
That was my whole thing.
Yeah.
Here's a place to start.
That's not 9/11. That's a good idea.
Yep, exactly right. Watch this course correction. Fucking banging Danny Elfman score.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. Here's how much I love it. I don't even have a problem with the fact that at the final fight scene on Roosevelt Island when Goblin gets killed, it gets so Batman-y.
Yes.
I'm totally fine with it.
It's very Batman. From the very beginning, I was like, it just sounds like a remixed Batman, which is fine because
it's rocking.
But Elfman has the characteristics of a superhero theme I like. His music sounds like what Burton, just the mix of it. It's perfect.
No, but I mean, what I like about this movie, and I mean, we could have also done 2. I think we'll probably do 2 at some point down the line.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because 2 is amazing, and
Yeah.
2 is probably better. It's like the one that
I don't know. I think I might prefer this one.
exactly.
I think
It's a lot closer than you think, because this movie really holds up. But what I like about this movie is it appreciates the pageantry of being a fucking superhero movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like the 15th superhero movie you've seen this year. It's like, no. Stop what you're doing. Sit down. Here's a very long, insane credit sequence. Capital I. Because at first I'm like, oh, I kind of like this with the web. And then like the Green Goblin shows up in it. I'm like, well, this kind of sucks.
It's so funny. I made these like the exact notation because it starts out, it's very simple and it's just like some names and a little web, and you're like, oh, that's cute.
Yes.
And by the end of it, it is some of the like worst not holding up CGI animation, like New York skyline, Goblin's face, like it looks awful. It gets very messy.
Go big or go home. That's what
yes.
I say with these fucking superhero movies. I don't want to hear, oh my God, Captain America listens to Nirvana now.
But at the same time, like parts of this that don't go big and go home, like I love the fact that this, like the whole thing in this movie is the Green Goblin being like, man, fucking Oscorp's getting bought out from under me. I'm getting fired. I'm so mad about this.
Yes.
And I'm going to kidnap Spider-Man's girlfriend.
Yeah.
The world isn't on the line.
Yes.
We're not doing
That's
alternate
true.
dimension stuff. It's such a grounded nothing problem.
And he's the Green Goblin because he's motivated by money. That's the greenest goblin of them all.
I mean, I do love the idea of Goblin running for mayor and just getting on that platform.
Did they ever do a thing where like Norman Osborn gets into politics?
Yes, he does. He runs S.H.I.E.L.D. for a while. Like,
Oh,
it's
is
like-
that right?
Like he's like an evil. Like there was a time when like he tricked everybody into thinking he was good, and it's like it's fucking Norman Osborn. Like, clearly he's evil. But like, guys, have you been reading this thing for the last 20 years? It's clearly.
It was a good idea to keep all the nursing homes open during COVID. It was a very good idea.
Norman Osborn's victory lap novel. Or a fucking memoir.
Oh, so he wasn't running S.H.I.E.L.D. He was the governor of New York State.
The governor. Look, I can't help it. I'm Italian. That's just how we say hello.
Listen, I just grab people. That's what I do. I grab lady butts. I grab guy butts, doing a little guy butt pat.
I know Osborne doesn't sound Italian, but it's from the old country, Sicily.
Osborne Gino.
And then you go to your shitty brother on fucking CNN and go, avenge me!
That'll be Harry.
You know, I think he's a good Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I realized though, I truly hate his voice. It starts with a
The
narration.
voiceover is actually kind of weak here.
It is, yeah.
Honestly,
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like we should have had another take.
Yep, I agree. It's always hard to start. Again, like this movie is big and operatic. It is hard to start. We should just start because we know what we're doing. I bought a ticket to a movie called Spider-Man. I'm at least more than likely a little bit aware of what this dude's up to.
I know what's going on. I saw that redacted teaser trailer.
But like, who am I? I know who you are. I fucking know it. I mean, I like Tobey in this, not as a person at all, but I like him in this because Spider-Man, Peter Parker should be kind of a jerk. That's kind of like his, like,
Isn't he though?
yeah, no, he is. That's what I mean. Like, he should be kind of a jerk.
Oh,
I think,
you're
like,
saying-
Tom Holland doesn't play him as a jerk.
yes, and like,
Well, Tom Holland I feel like that Spider-Man has nothing to reflect. Like, I feel like it's just him and Tony Stark.
yes,
And running around
Yeah.
in outer space or whatever. He doesn't know time to actually interact with human beings. This movie actually deals with human beings, which is cool.
Well, that's, I mean, the current, as the MCU currently stands, all characters have to be nice.
Yes.
Kind of.
Mhm.
You can't really say anything too. That irks me a bit. I'm gonna spend 17 days on the computer talking about how I don't like what they said there. I'm very sane.
but it's true though. I mean, like, I do think that like he's a bit complicated in this movie, and I think it comes from the writing, it comes from Tobey's performance, where he's like, he's kind of shitty a little bit, like, you know what I mean? And I think that again, like Peter Parker, if you read through the things. He's like juggling girls. He's like, fucking shirking
Wow,
responsibility.
by the way, that is a terrible way to use your powers. You just grab a lady, huck her in the air.
He's a fucking but that's what a cocky teenager should be
Yes,
like.
exactly.
It
Yeah.
should be a little annoying, a little hard to take.
You should be-
Also-
give a nerd any power.
Yep.
Watch them
Yep.
turn on a fucking dime.
They'll be killing
absolutely.
animals. They'll be doing all kinds of
Like
reprehensible
Steve,
shit.
look at Steve. Look what happened to Steve.
I know, remember how-
He's a menace to society.
I used to be a nice guy. Now, oh, dude.
No way. Can't look Steve in the eye anymore.
He's got-
the three of us have to look at each other, and Steve, we can't
Oh
look at him.
yeah,
He'll
because
spit
he's
on
got
us.
so much power now. You finally paid your utility bill.
All this gold on you. I don't like it.
Barely paid
All,
my utility.
all these rings and necklaces you have
draped
on.
in velvet.
I do not like it.
But like your Zuckerbergs and what have you. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
exactly.
Like, that's what I'm getting at. But yes,
Eisenberg would have been actually an interesting Peter
he would have
Parker.
been. He was probably a little too young here, 2002. No, he would have actually been. I mean, he'd probably be actually more accurate because
Probably red.
Toby was what 25, I think, when they were
25,
making this
26.
movie.
Yeah.
He certainly would have been a better Spider-Man than Lex Luthor, right?
Oh
yes. Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
My lord.
Jeez, thanks. I kind of forgot that happened.
Yeah.
Now it's all
Little baby
washing.
billions over there.
So the opening is he's running after the bus. And I do think he plays like the dopey, dinky fucking nerd pretty well.
Yeah, to
He's-
me though, anyway, to my eye, and Chelsea and I disagreed on this last night to see where you guys stand on it. I think even at 25, he's looking way too old to be a high school kid.
He is, but they all are, which I
Yes,
guess
yeah.
helps the
Yeah,
reality.
it's the 90210 rule.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
I
what-
think, I think Franco and Dunst are more believable as
Oh,
high
sure.
school kids than he is.
Yeah,
though.
that's true. Yeah, because they're much younger than he.
But what about
is.
Flash?
Oh, dude,
Joe Manganiello.
My lord.
shaving his neck between takes, dude.
You
Dude,
can
he
see
was-
the 5 o'clock shadow on him.
He was like 26, I think, or
Yeah.
something like that, or 27 maybe. Love Joe Manganiello, by the way.
A story he told, I think on the Pete Holmes show or something. I was reading about it. Was some stuntman was like, "Dude, I'll give you $100 to punch Maguire in the face in this shot," and he was like, he like considered it. Then he's like, "No, I'll probably ruin my career. I'm probably not going to do that."
Yep.
Did he get? I mean, he's big in this
he's huge.
movie, but like, do you think he took this fight a little too personally because he's humongous now?
Well, no,
Like,
he was bitten by a radioactive fucking dumbbell, and
I
it's
see,
become
yes,
enormous.
yes. A radioactive Bowflex.
He is super jacked now, is he not? For that like
Humongous.
movie that he's never going to get.
The
Oh, the
dead
Deathstroke?
shot.
Deathstroke,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see it.
Of course, it would be awesome and worth watching, which
And
means they won't make it.
Deathstroke is the guy that does like autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yes.
That's what that's about.
Yeah, he spends a lot of time in Thailand.
And you
mostly.
say you don't know much about comic books.
That one I did read. I saw there was an issue online. It was very interesting.
I bet you Joey Meggs comes back out for this third Magic Mike they're doing.
Oh, I'm sure.
So what's the deal though? McConaughey is a no-go, huh?
I don't know.
Well, did he gave up the governor's race? I guess.
Yeah, so now he'll take his shit off again.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
guess that's true.
But-
But it was just Channing Tatum was like, I am ready to do this with
Yes.
Steven Soderbergh. And I was like, man, I hope McConaughey's there.
Oh yeah, I hope all of them come back. What's
Yeah.
his Bomer? I like Bomer in that.
Where's
the
Kevin
movies.
Nash? Get
Hell
Kevin
yeah.
Nash
Ooh,
back?
Big guy.
I love. So he's like doing the thing. Is like, you wouldn't want to be me. And there's this
This
big
is
fat. There's this
fucking
big
crazy,
fat
though.
kid eating a donut. He's like, you'd rather be him than me. I'm like, no, I would not. Like, you know what I mean? Hey, speaking as a very fat man that's lived his life as a very fat man, I would kill to be the nerdy little
Oh, yeah.
guy.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
Because I'm not a self-important twit.
Exactly.
So maybe I'd be able to use it.
But this voiceover too, if he did a different read of it, it'd be so creepy as fuck. He's like, I always wanted MJ.
Oh, dude.
I would want to be any of these people, even this guy.
I'd love
to be her shoe. He's gonna start wearing the skins of these kids.
You see MJ's jacket? I'd love to be that jacket.
Oh.
I want her arm inside me.
Oh, Bruce. She touched Bruce on the arm. I must have that arm.
I love him when he's running after the bus and like even the bus drivers laughing
Oh,
about
yeah.
it. It's fucking great.
The guy, that little fucking wiener kid.
I do appreciate that we got actual Queens here, right? This looks like near Queens Boulevard, maybe Sunnyside or Woodside.
They're right out like
I
that
saw
area.
Vinny Chase right on the sidewalk.
They do a pretty good
He is
job
Queens
of
Boulevard.
mixing it, even though most of this movie was filmed in LA. There is some New York stuff that I really like, but
Yeah,
there's
totally.
a lot of it's filmed in LA.
So they are going on a field trip to Columbia. We are also filming on campus, outside, inside. It is the Los Angeles Natural History Museum. But it's pretty cool because outside here, this is the same outside quad from Ghostbusters. Nice to see it once again.
And just to show you the juice that Norman Osborn has, he goes fucking drive. It's not easy to drive onto the campus of Columbia, let me tell you, unless they open the fucking gates.
Yeah,
They
not a
usually
lot
don't.
of cars at that part. Absolutely right.
He just fucking, him and Harry come up, driving up, and like, he not only did he do this, he sits there to have a conversation, a heart-to-heart with Harry while he's doing this, and he's like,
You can all wait. I'm talking to my son. I'm not going to buy a Jetta just because you're terrible at school, Harry.
Oh, dude, yeah,
huge
take that
slam on Jetta.
Volkswagen.
Yeah,
Take
exactly.
that Volkswagen.
This movie does exposition really well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
It just, again, without the clumsy voiceover, which is absolutely clumsy, but like, you get the Norman and Harry dynamic immediately, and it's really good. And I think, I'm not the world's biggest Franco fan in general, but like, I think,
Wasn't he like a sex criminal now?
I think he's also a sex criminal as well. I think he's good in this.
Of course
movie.
he is, yeah.
And then the second one too, the third one's a disaster when they try and do whatever the fuck they do with that
He
third.
should have been excised at the end of the second movie.
Yes.
The second movie, he should have been killed because it is way too much going on in that third movie to care about any goblin related residuals.
But his relationship with Dafoe, like those scenes are really good. You know what I mean?
It's also great casting.
Yes.
It's really, really great casting. And also what helps this too is like they run immediately into Peter and Dafoe's just like, oh yeah, you're so smart with all your science stuff. And then you have, Harry, Franco having to be like, man, he really loves you. He like wants to fucking adopt your ass. He couldn't care less about me.
I think Peter's playing the long game here. He's like, who's the new kid just transferred in? Oh, that's Harry Osborn. His dad's a billionaire. And he's like, say. You know what I mean? Just like sidle right up.
Yep.
Maybe he and I'll get an apartment after high school, and I could pay $300. He could pay $2,000.
No, dude. Neither of those kids are paying anything for that apartment.
Exactly.
It's a great
Pete's
apartment.
fucking scot free.
Harry says to him at like high school graduation, like, my dad got the apartment all set for us downtown, and it's like, yep, free room and board.
You've got enough on your mind. Don't worry about the rent this week.
And it's just like, oh, maybe he'll offer me a job. I like science. He likes science. Hey, Harry, what are we doing tonight, big guy?
Yep.
The biggest science corporation in the world just happened to be friends with the guy. Just happened to bump into him is what happened there.
It's interesting that Harry Osborn is like outside the social circle to the point where his only friend, I guess, is Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I guess because he transferred in or whatever after being kicked out of all those boarding schools. But you'd think like he would run in the more popular circle as a billionaire child.
Well, that's what's kind of
rich
funny.
kid.
Yeah, he's easy on the eye.
Sure.
I think it's even on this field trip. Like he's also kind of getting bullied by Flash Thompson and all the other like Gap model jocks that are in the background.
Right,
I
yeah.
think they say something like, "Oh yeah, what are you doing, billionaire boy?" or something like that.
Oh yeah, what are you going to do about it? Well, his father will fire your father.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
That's a
Yeah,
good
totally.
line.
So they're going around this science lab, and this woman's showing them all these like spider-related science experiments.
This lab with humongous columns in it. It's just so silly.
I mean, it's almost as if it was a museum.
I
of
mean,
some
I know
kind.
it's a museum, but I'm just looking. I'm like, why?
And it's
Why?
like, this spider does, it's kind of interesting. They're trying to like, it's not just one spider. It's like, or, it's a merge of all these spiders. It could jump. It could do this. It could spin
Is there a
webs.
special name for like a group of spiders? You know how there's like a murder of crows?
Yeah.
It'd be great if there was something for
I would call
spiders.
it a creep. A creep of
Creep of
spiders.
Yeah, I like
spiders,
that.
totally,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a
A
good one.
vomit
Oh,
gasp of
God.
spiders.
Oh.
But it's kind of great though. Like,
Yeah.
to what end, science experiment?
Great question.
What are we doing
Great
here? Getting all
question.
these spiders that got all these little abilities and making one big super terrifying spider.
And they have 13 of them, and one goes missing, and there's not a red alarm. Like,
Yes, where is the klaxon for this? Instead, because the woman is like, oh, there's 15 spiders or something, and MJ is like, oh, well, there's only 14 here. And this woman goes, huh, that's weird.
No, it's not.
She says that they must be working on one of
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Like they're giving it a tune-up in the back.
You gotta sign those spiders out.
Yeah.
I want a spider's sign out.
How else am I supposed to create my spider army? Yeah, it just happened to get loose.
But seriously, what are they planning on doing? Like dropping this thing into Nicaragua? Like
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
I need that lady at the start of this to be like, this is why we're doing this. And it has to be like something medical breakthrough.
Well, last fall, America was caught with their pants down. That will not happen again. My army of spiders will destroy the Taliban.
Hey, Poppy, what do you think about sending an army of spiders to Afghanistan?
Can we get a Venom going? Maybe send him a Carnage?
Now, Junior, you got to be careful with all them symbiotes. Why don't you start small, boy? How about an army of spiders?
Yeah, I need to talk about the teacher in this scene, the
Oh, my
student
God.
whisperer. This guy,
Love him.
It's like he's very loudly whispering every line.
But that's what he wants to do, right?
Yeah.
Because you're trying to discipline these kids
Right.
while also respecting the goddamn exhibit.
But you don't, you never hear it break. Like even beforehand, he's always like, even coming in, he's like, now keep in line. Make sure you don't ask questions. They're stupid.
You two were talking during that woman's entire presentation.
Let's go talk about how we listen.
The next person who talks will fail this course. I kid you not.
That is the best one.
Yeah, kid you not.
Kid you not.
Dude, like it is. That is such a high school teacher puffing himself up. You know what I mean?
It's like ASMR,
It
right?
is. Oh, dude, absolutely.
Yeah, like
if you don't take off your pants right now, you're gonna fail. I kid you not.
a late night like R&B station made just for fucking next on WKPR, The Storm.
We're gonna be playing Cool in the Gang. I kid you not.
Sade all night. I kid you not.
It's just, it's like, it's puzzled me for years. I mean, I remember being in the theater, watching this movie for the first time and going, why is that guy doing that? So awesome.
There are no small parts, Andrew. There are no small parts.
That's true. That's very true. Although Tobey would say, this guy doesn't have a name.
Yeah.
We know he's a teacher. He's got a profession, obviously.
Sure.
No name to be found, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, you got to stop the acting. I looked him up because I was like, this guy's great. Why is he in everything?
He could have been like a goon in a bunch of, like, maybe like Seagal-level action movies.
Could you stop whispering?
No, I cannot.
It's a medical condition. I kid you not.
Man, you talked through that woman's whole presentation.
I mean, he does. Like, those are such science teacher lines, though. Like, get out. It's just like he just rules.
But you do understand this is a disaster movie. We need people to be. No, I'm screaming. It's coming right for us.
Aliens have taken over the White House. I kid you not. Yeah, we're gonna need more than that. Go bigger there.
We're going to have to send nukes to the asteroid to blow it up. I kid you not.
We should mention that this is during what so Peter is going to try to talk to MJ. He wusses out or whatever. So now Harry goes over there and uses his science facts to charm the lady, right?
Sure.
And this is when you were talking to the entire presentation.
Yeah, because Peter's like, oh wow, spiders could lift blah blah blah, and Harry's like, why would I give a fucking shit about that, Peter?
The funny thing is, like, the answer to that is like, I don't know, Harry, because it's healthy to be curious, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You should always keep your mind going, man.
This reminds me of something that happened to me in 7th grade. I would turn to a buddy of mine, or what I thought was a friend of mine.
Oh, shit.
And I would make a little, aside about, this stupid science experiment, blah, blah, blah. Like a little joke. And he'd laugh. And then he would say it loud, and he would get the credit.
That's
yeah, dude. I was like his Gary. I was like his Judd Apatow. I was Judd Apatow to his Gary Shandling, but writing his material.
Honestly, that should have taught you, Steve. Just gotta have some confidence.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it takes, man.
So that's what Harry does here. He takes Pete's fucking material, goes in
Yeah.
for the kill with his James Franco looks.
And MJ's like, wow, what an interesting spider fact. I want to give you a hand job in the bathroom.
We should say Kirsten Dunst is in this movie. She's great.
She is great.
I still have not seen Power of the Dog yet, but I'm holding a slot in my top 5
She
for it.
kicks
Same.
fucking ass. in
Because
that
I love
movie,
her. I
too.
love
She's very good.
Clemens. I like her new. I mean, her career's always been good. I mean, like she's never really had a downtime. You know, she was a little kid.
She took a break. That's literally what she did.
Interview with the Vampire. She comes out fucking Dora. She doesn't win an Oscar, but I think she gets nominated for Best Supporting in that performance, and then just kind of fucks around. And
There's
then,
been interesting
Yes.
landmark
Waves,
things.
yeah.
Like Interview
Bring
with the
It On.
Vampire was like one kind of thing. Jumanji was another kind of thing. Bring It On was another kind of thing. Virgin Suicides was another kind of thing.
Marie
And that-
Antoinette. Yeah, that
So
indie run she had.
Yep, exactly. And then she's just so fucking great in Power of the Dog. And then through all of this, you have her playing MJ 3 times.
Yes.
And she's really great in these movies.
moon is coming to destroy the earth. I kid you not.
Oh, dude.
Oh, right. And then, of course, Melancholia. She's fantastic.
Oh, yes.
That's what it's been a while for that movie. I remember loving it, but it was a moon thing, right?
No, it was
That's
a
a
different
planet.
planet.
Different planet.
called
Okay, I
Planet.
thought maybe it was a moonfall.
You're
like a
thinking
good
of
version.
Moonfall. You're just getting excited for Moonfall.
we're all being moonfall pilled, and we're excited
I'm
about
gonna
it.
kill myself in a horse stable. I kid you not. I'm gonna fuck a random stranger on a golf course. I kid you not.
Yeah, I don't know why we have you reading for the Dunst character, but yeah, that wasn't very good.
I guess I'll just retire from acting. I kid you not.
And he wasn't kidding. But yeah, so she's great. I mean, like, and like Pete, Maguire is being really creepy here. He's like, hey, I need someone else to be in the photo with this spider. Mind if I take your picture?
Dude, it's 2 awkward asks for photography in a row.
Yeah.
Because right before that, he says to the scientist who's giving them the tour, he just holds up a camera and goes, for the school paper.
And she goes, uh-huh.
He should have made it a hat trick and make the last one. Hey, MJ, why don't you get rid of those sandals? And let those babies fly.
Yeah, but just like, oh, MJ, I need a person in this one. Click.
And she's like,
Shutterbug.
Pornography is expensive on the internet.
She says, don't make me look ugly. And he's like, I could never.
What? Impossible. Later, when we find that his bedroom is 2 feet from her bedroom,
Yeah.
that's when things get really fucking creepy. Yeah, he's been doing that for years.
He's been slinging webs before he got bit by that spider, that's for sure.
You better believe it.
He's watching her sleep, guaranteed.
Oh,
Every
totally. His
night.
lights are off too, and he's got binoculars looking in that window. See if the moon. He does it at a full moon
Yeah.
when the moon is at its brightest, and he hopes that some of that beautiful moonlight will fall into her darkened room.
Yeah.
So his binoculars pick up some stuff.
Pitch blackness, listening to every breath you take, thinking it's romantic.
But this fucking criminal spider is on the loose, and Tobey gets bit. And I mean, like, I don't know, dude. Spider bites are most often like really dangerous. Like, if you get
they're
bit,
fucking bad. Yeah.
you go to the hospital almost all the time. Just
You
to
got
be
to
sure.
tell somebody. And I was
Yes.
actually thinking about this last night. Like, imagine the turn that his life would have taken if he was like, excuse me, I just got bit by this spider.
Yeah.
And then he'd be like under surveillance.
Right.
The change would occur.
Not even that. Norman Osborn has him in a cell somewhere.
Yeah.
No, they're
And
dissecting him.
testing. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like what
Oh,
they
yeah.
want to do to E.T.
He's all gray at the end of it.
It's just Willem Dafoe in like those big see-through plastic suits.
plus of the matter, Uncle Ben's probably fine.
That's true.
That's
then Uncle
true.
Ben would live.
Yeah, and he would live to continue to not work
Yeah.
and just sit around the house feeling more useless by the day.
After the spider bite, we do have Cliff Robertson, the great Cliff Robertson, of course, as Uncle Ben, and Rosemary Harris, of course, as Aunt May. This is still back when Uncle Ben and Aunt May were old people.
Yes. You need a smoke show. I don't need to be J.O. into Aunt May.
Hey, you know what, though? I'm totally fine with that decision.
fine.
The Marissa
Sure.
Tomeiing of it all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even the Sally Fielding of it all.
Yeah, oh,
was-
yeah.
was kind of all right with me. But yeah, so yeah, Cliff Robertson's talking about he got laid off from the electric plant or the plant where he was an electrician.
Oh yeah, the electrician's top plant got laid off after 35 years. Let's see what's in the paper. What do people hire people for today? Oh, computer this, computer that.
It reminded me of that Seinfeld where it's fucking for no reason Frank Costanza's selling computers.
I saw that one recently. Yeah,
Totally.
Aunt May gets
man.
lucky here, dude. This dude croaks, gets shot. Life insurance definitely takes care of everything.
Totally.
And you don't need this bitter old fuck because it's going to be every day with the computers. That's her retirement is listening to, well, I can't do it, man. These goddamn computers.
He's secretly happy he gets killed.
Even the computers have analysts. The therapy, May, is out of control.
Yep. Oh yeah, you got to watch it with that now.
He's also kind of got like a Born Again vibe to him a little bit. Like when he's talking to Peter, it's like this, like, I've been there, I did it all, did it worse than you'll ever do it.
I was hooked on drugs once.
Exactly. Just like he's got that. I don't know why, but like his performance is very much
for
like
Uncle
that.
Ben.
Yeah.
I got like a Norman Rockwell, very clean cut. Like this is a hardworking American. This is what it used to be like.
You know what I think it might be, Steve? The fact that he has the worst piece in any Marvel movie that's ever been made. And I feel that like he kind of looks like Southern huckster, religious dude, maybe like a super church guy.
See, I never minded on the older guys because I'm like, well, most of your body's fake at this point, right? I mean, come on, that's fine.
He got bit by a radioactive televangelist.
Now, Peter, I know what you're going through. I've been through it, man. I was addicted to spider blood for decades. I would shoot the stuff anywhere I could.
Got hooked on it in Korea.
I put it between my toes. I would just inject it into my toes.
That way your aunt couldn't see the marks on my hand.
Now I'm just picturing a guy like grabbing like a GI in the Korean War, grabbing some weird exotic spider and jamming it to his toes.
Dripping into his mouth.
Or encouraging it to bite him, dude.
Oh, yeah. Just
like a bite fetishist.
Like the guy on MASH who was always trying to get sent home.
Oh, yeah.
Jamie, whatever his character
Jamie
is.
Farr is the actor.
That you do that, right? It's kind of like dudes like shooting themselves in the foot and whatnot.
Yeah, people would love to do that.
Peter, at my very lowest, I juiced a tarantula. And I just shot that son of a bitch down my gullet.
Like in World War I, they used to do this thing, right? If you take the rifle and you could shoot it with your toe, you kill yourself.
Yeah.
By shooting you with your toe.
No, I'm just talking about trying to get sent home due to an injury.
No, both send you home. One's in a box.
But Peter barges in. He's got this big honking, pulsating spot, and that's what I love about Raimi here as a director is all of his sensibilities are here. You got the he gets the body horrorness of it.
Absolutely,
which rules.
I honestly like the biological webs.
Yeah,
just because it's like it's one less thing to like it makes Peter Parker like a regular guy versus like I'm a science wizard,
It makes him gross. Like he's a teenager. He should be a little gross. The whole thing of fucking Tom Holland. I'm the smartest boy that ever was. I'm shooting.
Yeah, but that's more in line with the actual character, right?
It's just one extra part of Peter is he's also a super science genius, and these movies I think the next one does that a little bit more. I
think you're right, but I like that. I don't like. I'm already suspending disbelief for a lot of this, and that's just another suspension of disbelief. And then you line them all up, and it's like one too many. So I'm glad that was excised personally.
Yeah, I mean the problem with making him the smartest boy in the entire world is that he knows the answer to everything essentially.
Yeah,
it doesn't. Sometimes it takes a little longer than usual, but he always knows what to do, and that is boring for a character.
The other thing that it removes, and the others have both of the Garfield and the Holland ones have this. When it goes back to him having to have little packets instead. There's always a thing about now I'm out of it, exactly. as a device of some kind, and this just removes that, and it adds up, and it trades it. It's a trade up in my book also because it's a trade up to body horror.
Yes,
yeah, but the ultimate body horror is if they give him a big juicy ass, because when you think of spiders, you think of that big juicy ass. They always have such big bottoms,
just a big old plum on the back of there.
He should at least have a little thick ass.
I mean, I guess, but
maybe not a full balloon, but a little thicker.
maybe, Eric, but I think it's a fine compromise to have wrist cum.
Wrist cum is awesome.
I think
too,
that's a
yeah.
fantastic way to do it.
And
I
he's
think that's
coming
really
up the
cool.
room, and Rosemary Harris is like, "What are you doing in there?"
Aunt May, my booty is delicious. Aunt May, my booty has become delicious.
Oh, and he could like twerk on YouTube and shit.
Good God, Peter, did you get a BBL? What are you doing with the money that you make?
But it's kind of cool. They shot this first, so he's like, it's really skinny, like emaciated Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
He passes out. We get like, some bad CGI about what's happening to his cells.
Well, because we saw X-Men a few years before this, so we're going inside the bloodstream there. Yeah, it's not great.
It's not fantastic, but he wakes up the next day. He doesn't need his glasses. He's like, and again, like he's reasonably jacked. You know what I mean? Like he's.
Yep.
I mean, Spider-Man's supposed to be skinny, jacked anyway, but he's not. It's not like really like
It's not hulking. There's not a lot of bulk there. There's
Yeah.
just definition.
It's
and
sensible,
like a
yeah.
yes.
While this is all going on, the same evening.
Oh, that's right.
Norman Osborn is doing his own experiment because we have learned while the field trip is happening that the military is going to pull funding from Oscorp in favor of this other company. And if Oscorp loses that contract, like Norman will be finished.
Yeah, well, they're in the middle of the conference to decide that. Like, he's just the military's like, we want an update. We want to see what, and him and this fucking weenie assistant he's got.
Dr. Strom, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Strom, and he comes next to him and he's like, it's my idea that we should go back to formula. And like, it's like the Lisa needs braces. Back to formula? Back to formula?
It's so good.
Yeah.
To formula.
Because some of the side effects are anger and insanity.
Totally.
We've accidentally invented like super PCP. We were trying to do something that was not that. I mean, also like, what is the military application of
For
a
Super
dude?
PCP, a lot.
No, for super PCP, absolutely a lot. But for a dude precariously dangling on a hang glider, like
Well, I mean, at the time, right? Like, I never thought, we'd have drones flying by your apartment at night, you know? So it's
sure,
like,
it's proto drone, I guess.
yeah.
And then
It's
the other
You're just
something.
going to put a person on it, which is the weird part. The drone part, I understand. The person surfing on it, I don't get.
You'll be shot in 5
Well,
seconds.
in fact, it's an antiquated notion to have pilots now, but I think, it's a stepping stool.
guess
We
it's
have to
true.
have these weird experimental sciences in order to get the one that sticks.
They don't
Right.
care what the super soldier looks like. They just want the super
Yes.
soldier, whatever it happens to be.
Talk about not caring what the super soldier looks like. I'm sorry. I think this movie's great. The Goblin helmet is fucking dumb. It looks
I love
It
it.
looks
It-
cheap as hell.
It looks insane. It's insane to think that like a scientist and military would be like, yeah, no, make it look more a little evil. How about some fangs?
I mean,
I think he modifies it when he becomes the
Oh,
Green
okay.
Goblin.
yeah, a little bit. But like the footage
To
of
scare our opponents.
exactly.
the footage of the other effect
Yes.
that they were going to use is amazing.
Yes.
Oh, what
Absolute-
is this?
They had an actual face, like you have to look it up online. It
It's
was a different-
animatronic.
anim-
Oh, like
basically.
so it would be also body horror then.
It would look more like the actual mask from the comics, where
It would look like the
looks scary.
Wishmaster or
yes,
something.
Yes.
It actually looks scary. Like when it makes the big evil
You got
grin at the end
scared?
of it, it's
You got
a little
scared?
scary.
You
It's a
looked
little
at that?
scary.
You got
It's
scared a little
scary.
bit?
I pissed my little pants.
Little pee-pee down there?
Pissed the pants. I looked at all this footage and I was
He
pissing
saw it
pants.
online. He got a little pee-pee there.
I was
I think the other thing
Well, pee-pee down there.
that
a lot pissed.
if the two of you are pissing on that couch over there, there's going to
Oh,
be
yeah, you're
trouble.
going to want to get a new one of these.
No, just I think what made I never was crazy about it, but I think the problem is what made it worse for me is just the absolute horrendousness of everything about that Turn Off the Dark musical,
Oh yeah.
including the costume of the Green Goblin
Yes,
in that,
which is
and,
very similar to it.
and I can't separate the two
Yes.
in my brain now. That was just what a wretched undertaking that whole thing was.
Did you go see it?
No, Steve did though.
I did. I was the only one. No,
How
many
was that?
people. Yeah, it was terrible. It was
Cool.
awful. There's a long.
Because it's like U2 now? Or
It's
something?
Bono and the Aj, dude.
How many people died in your production?
0. But the guy came out. I'd probably told the story. He was like, "Welcome." It was just some stagehand comes out. He's like, "This is a preview. This is not the actual. You're welcome to be here. We're happy to have you, but it's a preview. So if we have to stop, it's not a mistake. It just means it's a preview.
Like Marge in front of the Treehouse of
Yeah,
Horror.
it really was. And you may get wet with blood, okay? But I remember being, this. It's funny. I don't remember seeing this in theaters. I know I absolutely did. I remember like reacting to it. I don't remember the moment because it was the summer between high school and college. And I was probably stoned out of my mind.
It was September.
No,
when was it?
May of 2002.
Yeah,
Got
so
it.
like
Okay.
I would have just, or maybe
your
just
school
about to
graduated in May. Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
we always just
a month
finishing.
early.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember seeing this. I went to Friendly's beforehand.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
We were in the throes of our multiplex
Yep.
days, so this was one of the like Thursday night put it on
cool.
before it opened thing.
But I remember
Fucking
that.
great.
I remember then being like, "Oh, the costume sucks," and it's grown on me over the years because obviously
like it.
being a comic book fan, I'm like, "Oh, it should look like this and it looks like that." But it has, like, especially last night, I was just like, "Oh, there's a lot of movement there. It is kind of like aerodynamic and kind of cool."
What would have
It's
saved
not great.
it?
It's not great.
What would have saved it for me is if they made the mesh on the mouthpiece
Yes.
a little more transparent, because the
You can see
parts.
through it.
No, but barely. If his mouth was way more visible the whole time, it would be better. Because when the camera is far away from it and he's talking, it just looks stupid to me. It just looks fucking dumb. It looks way better when you can see his mouth.
You could just have the stuntman and Willem can just do some booth recording.
But it's Willem in the costume.
Really?
Which, yes.
The whole time?
No,
Every
probably not
shot.
the whole time.
They said something like he did like 90% of his own
Really?
stuff.
Well, that's cool.
But like the parts where I think the costume are most effective are like the fight at the end when he's got the eyes are open, you can see it's Dafoe, and you can see that those Dafoe teeth in there.
Yes,
that's when it's most effective.
I think now that it's been like 20 years of nonstop superhero costumes, I'm totally fine with this one.
Well, I guess that is the fact that it is just a costume and he's not a CGI thingamajig.
Yes. God
is
bless.
such a big thing for me that I'm just like, fine, whatever it is.
I guess
we couldn't even. They couldn't even do Mysterio. I mean, there's a fishball head. That's pretty easy, but no, it's got to be
full
fucking
CGI.
Yep.
I mean,
Like- Again, light hitting things, people. Real light hitting real things.
It's true.
So fucking easy.
And Dafoe is a super inspired choice and terrific in this movie.
Yep,
he is full. I love. So he goes to take the thing. He's like, I'm gonna experiment on myself. The other guy's not super into it. I've always loved this shot of him taking the shot and then slamming the glass down.
Yep, totally.
Love it.
It's a power move, dude.
Chugging this poison.
It lets you know that this Green Goblin fucks. He doesn't fuck in the movie, but
Yeah.
he would fuck.
Oh, well, that's also, I mean, just the mere casting of Willem Dafoe. Even his weirdo lighthouse guy. Every character Willem Dafoe has played fucks.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about it.
That's the primary thing about Dafoe as a person. He fucks.
Yeah.
Even when he voices cartoon characters, those cartoon characters fuck. Even if it's like talking dogs or like fucking daisies or whatever the hell.
Yeah, I'm a talking dog that fucks. Woof woof.
I'm a daisy. I want to fuck you. I'm a daisy.
Come over here, Bumblebee, pollinate.
Hey, other flower, film this.
Take it off. Take it off.
Now I want this movie. Pixar's Daisy starring Willem Dafoe.
Dafoe should have done something in that horrendous emoji movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm the eggplant. Yeah.
Oh, you're going to send me to a work colleague. Maybe you shouldn't do that.
Why don't you send back little squirts?
I'm going to get you in trouble at work.
Or maybe I'm a peachy ass today.
I would be remiss. This beginning is a little. It feels a little Batman Forever-y, like the.
By the way, there's an exterior shot of Oscorp or
Yes.
whatever, and it looks very Tim Burton Batman.
Yes.
Yeah.
which is cool as hell.
It's fine.
It's like a matte painting or something.
It is, yeah.
Man, it's just like we got to go back. We got to go back to tradition.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about the effects in this movie, the computer effects, is that they are mostly used like as dollops.
Yes.
To connect things and bring them together as the effects should be used.
Yeah.
Right.
So they don't. You're also seeing this time where we're beautifully not overboard with it. It's not the whole movie. You're just seeing it used as it should be used.
Yeah. But wait, so what part were you saying was
No,
very...
just him like when they're showing the formula to the guy, to the general, and he rejects it. It's very Edward Nygma-y.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that night he does it himself.
See, I love a good like the bad guy does a thing under the cover of night.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you're right, it does have that same feel of like after hours we shouldn't be doing this. And the guy definitely doesn't want to do Dr. Strum or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I think I clicked on that character's name on Wikipedia.
Uh-oh.
That guy becomes somebody.
Ooh.
It's like
Stromfront or something.
it's called like the living computer or
wow.
something
Okay.
like that. It was like kind of dumb sounding.
But he
Now
gets.
Connor's the lizard. He's the bug. Yeah, just a bug.
I love this shot of Dafoe with white eyes. It's so Evil Dead. It's
Yep.
so
Yeah.
fucking cool.
Yep, it totally rules, man. And like they didn't need to do that,
Mhm.
but they did, and
Mhm.
it's another little thing that adds to it.
Also, just letting like Dafoe go wild with the physicality and like really like seize up
Him
and stuff like.
jumping up after
Oh,
the
dude.
Yeah.
after
yeah,
the
yeah,
thing
yeah.
like explodes or whatever, and he jumps up like on the ledge as he jumps out of the whole thing, like,
Like a gargoyle or something.
Totally.
But it's cool that he actually dies, right? We see, and he comes back to life. I guess Strom kind of resuscitates
Yeah, he
him.
does.
yeah.
This is all Strom's fault.
It is,
Strom,
as always.
Yeah, fucked up, buddy.
And then he just goes back to formula.
This guy gets super murdered. It's
Yes.
awesome.
it rules. And then Peter now go to school.
Here's a question, because you always got to try to smoke these out wherever you can. When he wakes up the next morning, Peter, and you see it's he's looking in the mirror, he's all like jacked and whatnot, and then like Aunt May is like, "You're going to be late for school," and then something about like, "Do you need to change?" And he goes like, "Change? Oh yeah." Big change.
Yeah.
Is his penis larger?
His penis is absolutely
absolutely
larger.
so.
Yes, I think
It's
that's-
probably, maybe that's, instead of the ass getting bulbous, maybe the penis got like a big head on it or something.
Oh,
Aunt May, I got a real horse cock now.
it's all head. There's like no shaft.
I'm somehow immediately getting emails from some guy named Mr. Hands.
Oh
my
no,
God.
it's too big, Aunt May. No one will want me.
I can't walk. It's weighted down.
Everybody wants this until they get it, and then they know it's a curse.
Yeah. What would he have to fuck? Like a whale or something?
Or
what's
at
an-
least another horse.
Yeah, I guess a horse would do.
But yes, and then he goes to school and he realizes he has sticky hands. And, yeah, these little body horror. These little fibers at
God,
the
it's
edge of his fingers
disgusting.
are so gross.
The close up on that
Yeah.
shit.
Oh.
Oh my God. What are you going to do when you're, fondling a lady?
It's a great question.
Just like rip off pieces.
Here's the thing, right? Is like they never really establish if those things are going away, like cat
Yes.
claws or what. And yeah, dude, it's like when he finally gets with MJ, and like you go to fucking grab a titty,
yeah,
man.
cups a breast.
Look what's going on there.
I got a nipple in my palm. Oh boy.
But there's the scene where Mary Jane almost falls over. He catches her and like he grabs all of her lunch. It's kind of fun. She's like, "Wow, good reflexes." And like she does this thing like, "Oh, you have blue eyes. I never noticed because you had glasses." And he's like,
What?
Yeah, I don't know. Wasn't wearing sunglasses, lady. What the fuck are you talking about?
Seriously. I like the Spidey sense. I
Yeah,
like
it's
how they
cool.
slow down the time. And
Yeah.
especially with the fight with Flash Thompson, seeing like him moving normally, it's interesting.
Dude, I love this big Joe Manganiello getting hit with a tray of food, and there's
Yes.
like baked beans all over his neck. Oh, it's awesome.
He
Bean
does
lunch.
the web thing and like he's dragging the fucking tray and that just seems disgusting.
It seems disgusting, but it's also like Spider-Man's equivalent of getting toilet paper stuck on his shoe.
Yeah,
Well, because we don't ever see like he clearly had to learn how to cut them off
yes,
somehow.
yeah. That's
That
what-
you don't get that scene, but like just the image is incredible. Like I love that.
And there's a great just like actual physical gag of the cafeteria door closes,
Yes.
and the tray gets stuck, and then the tray's like getting pulled, and you don't see Peter trying to pull it off, but like just this bouncing lunch tray is all the special effect you need.
I mean, I think this movie's appropriately corny where it needs to, but it is funny. Like the joke is Sam Raimi loves corny shit also, by the way.
Yeah.
But he does also can make jokes that hit. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing, though: you punch someone down a hallway, someone's calling the cops.
Yeah.
You know, someone's going to be like, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if this dude like practices some like secret fighting art or whatever, but he literally just punched a guy down a hallway.
This guy over here is calling an ambulance because his chest is probably caved in at that point.
Totally. His ribs inverted and stabbed his own heart.
Because later you're like lifted up Roosevelt Island trams and stuff. So if you're that strong and you don't even know you're that strong yet,
that's right.
And you're like, I'm going to wind up and really knock this dude.
He should have punched right through his body.
Oh boy. Oh,
I'm holding his heart in my hand. I'm holding his heart in my hand.
Better start wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Because I definitely killed this kid.
Fake your death, Peter, and then just become Spider-Man full time.
Ooh, I am going to jail. Oh, that's right. Just going to jail.
My name is Ben Riley, actually. How about that? Walk down the street.
I love like how just like because the hallway is full of kids and they're all like totally shocked except for MJ who's like disgusted.
Yeah. Well, kind of remind me of A History of Violence a little bit.
Oh,
like
yeah.
when he goes,
yes.
You think I'm funny, you piece of shit? Like I just kind of wanted that to happen.
Come here, you piece of shit.
Yes.
It's so awesome.
But yeah, but they almost have similar conversations. Like, they don't say that you put flash because it's a comic movie. It's like not like you put Flash in the hospital, but you definitely would have.
Yeah,
he's like twitching on the ground.
Totally, he would not be pulling up to MJ's house a couple nights later in this movie in his new sports car.
The only thing, so MJ the next day is like she's getting yelled at home by. We see this a little earlier.
Dude,
too.
this is
now. It's a bit much.
Listen, there's nothing funny about living under that scenario, but it's hysterical in this movie because one of the lines I had the captions on, the dad is screaming around the house, give me some beer! I need some beer!
Well, this is all over. You hear it eventually. It's about the dishes.
Yes.
And I'm like, maybe go
Dishes and beer, by the way.
maybe 4 degrees lower for the dishes. Maybe
Get back in here, Missy! Do those dishes!
Maybe not destroying half your house over the dishes.
Well, he's a drunken maniac.
Well,
because Peter is just like, say, and she like runs out crying to like just escape from this horrible situation, and Peter's like, so I couldn't help but overhear you being emotionally abused. Want a soda?
Were you listening to that?
No,
I was just taking out the trash. See the garbage bag.
she suggests that like she's like, well, it's nothing new. You've probably been hearing it for years, and you've never called the cops on these people.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
People, everyone shouts.
Sure.
Exactly.
Every day yelling over the dishes and beer.
Your aunt and uncle don't shout. Well, they scream pretty loud sometimes.
Uh-huh.
They have
Yeah, when they're
granny
getting it
sex,
on.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
fucking grampy fucking
Oh,
slop.
Ben, give it to me.
Oh yeah, dude, knocking all sorts of little ceramic cherubs off the shelf.
Knock it down out there. I can hear you fucking, you 80-year-olds.
Oh, you've been laid off from your job, but you've not been laid off from the bedroom.
You're animals. Keep it down.
We should say,
Oh, yes, there's a long sequence of-
we do. There's the first like him checking out his powers montage after the school fight.
I love this wall. The first wall crawling scene is incredible.
Wall crawl, great.
Yes. Yeah.
Overhead shot, little cartoon running
Yeah,
on the roof.
not
Not
good at all.
great at all.
No, yeah. That's the thing.
But the CGI in this, yeah, certain shots don't really live up. But honestly, I think they are way better than a lot of the CGI that are what's contemporary to this. I rewatched those Matrix sequels.
Oh, yeah.
Holy fuck, dude.
Yeah.
PS1 graphics
Yeah, it gets
for
bad.
entire people.
See, that's what this movie gets right. Is so much of the effect shots are at least based around actual like landscape shots, and then they're putting other stuff in.
Yeah.
And it's not this whole like everything you're looking at is fake. Just part of it is fake.
And the benefit is also what you would call it. For the most part, it's the Green Goblin and Spider-Man who are completely clothed, so you don't need to see skin tone or any kind of
But
humanity.
that's what's weird in these
Yes.
roof running scenes because they have the parts where he jumps up, and when he jumps up and comes closer to the camera,
Yeah.
you have like a cartoon Tobey face.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird. It really doesn't look.
But the
all that
wall
great.
thing is really cool. I mean,
Yes.
they do it a couple of times, and it's really great. Like, it seems very simple. It's like, yeah, we move the camera so he's actually just walking, but it looks like he's walking up a wall. But the way the angles that Raimi plays with in that scene to just kind of draw you in is incredible.
Well, that's Raimi, I think, does. I mean, I've come around. I actually kind of really like the Ang Lee Hulk now.
Oh, dude, I rewatched that. That has to be reappraised by people. I think that movie's a ton of fucking fun.
It's really strong, but I think what he does a little too, like, he puts a little too much effort into it. Raimi gets the thing of comic books of like, just try everything.
Yes, yeah.
Like angles everywhere. That's why I don't even mind the voiceover, because it's another thing that
totally.
I know
Gives
that energy of actually reading a comic book. Whereas like Ang Lee is like too hard. It's like doing it every shot.
I think it's just nuts. That movie is way more nuts than you remember.
Yes.
I had so much fun with it.
It's a phenomenal Nolte too.
Oh my god! Oh, top tier Nolte, no doubt about it. But so the only thing I was going to say is that all leads to like the crumbling of Peter's relationship with Uncle Ben. Is he ghosts him on painting the kitchen?
Oh, hey, Michelangelo, be here at 5:00. Can't wait to paint with you. And he's like, yeah, fuck off, old man.
Michelangelo, meatloaf and veggies in the oven. We now see that bright orange wall of the kitchen is now like a more toned down green. But the phone, yellow, doesn't really go with either, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see like the 70s chic that they had going on here. You know, when Aunt May brings out like a big pot of food earlier in this brown pot with flowers on it. Very 70s.
It's very watching too much House Hunters talking like this.
I notice what's in. I appreciate production design.
Sure.
I appreciate art direction. Have you heard of these things? They're in the credits of the film.
I think this is why Peter is so unpopular at school. It's because like, that's the kid with old parents.
Yeah.
You go over his house, his parents are old.
They're still smoking in the house. There's ashtrays everywhere. His uncle asked if I wanted a lewd.
I looked in the window one time, and they're skeleton people. They're that old.
They're old, dude.
They have vinyl records.
It's like his aunt's on like fucking Social Security and shit, dude.
The phone has a cord.
No, vinyl records. It hasn't become cool again. Not yet. You're still about 3 years off.
They had a word processor in their house. Not a computer, a word processor.
Part of that backyard conversation is they also say to each other, like, that they're both planning on moving to the city after graduation. She wants to be an actress. And he's like, oh, you could rule all of Broadway.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Oh, Tobey. Oh.
But then Flash shows up. He's like, look what my dad got me, a car.
Yeah.
Another car in Queens. Getting a lot of cars riding around Queens,
What's
baby.
so funny about it, like, I guess to an extent you could drive to Long Island or something.
And especially
I don't know.
more rural parts of Queens, if you're in like Ozone Park area or whatever.
But for Peter, who wants to move into Manhattan anyway, why is he suddenly wanting to get a car? And we get these weird little transitional shots of him going through like the automotive section in some leaflet, and we see a car superimposed over MJ.
Yes.
And it's amazing because it's like car equals women.
Yes.
This is kind of like when the movie feels very comic booky structurally, because you could picture that being like a Peter Parker thought cloud.
Yes, exactly.
You know? And it just, I think it's silly, but it also totally works.
Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't work. I just think it's silly, like to take a photo of it out of context.
Hey, MJ, my dad gave me a brand new car because my chest caved in and I'm going to die in 2 days. So we got a new car for a good I'm going to die, MJ.
It was spending the Parker settlement money early, baby.
I'll never play football again, and I got to pee through a bag. But
that would be amazing if, like, in the settlement for that schoolyard fight, they get the house.
Oh, dude.
Like, Aunt May's thrown in this fucking street.
Oh, I will be Flash's maid now. You're going to wear the outfit too, May.
But yeah, so he sees right under all of those car ads an ad for $3,000 wrestling prize.
Dude, do not. You see in a newspaper advertising, you got to go to Midtown and you get $3,000, no questions asked. You do not go to that address.
Definitely not. It's stunning that was printed in this newspaper.
Yes.
So Uncle Ben insists on giving him a ride, and he lies and says he's going to the downtown library location, which is, again, speaking of Ghostbusters, the 42nd and the Fifth Avenue there. Cliff Robertson pulling up right outside, right on Fifth Avenue. I don't think so.
Move it, old man.
Yeah. Totally, you needed like horn honking. Like, no, Peter, I got to talk to you about
great
this.
power comes great move your fucking ass.
It's a busy street. Park before you get your Jamba Juice.
Bus lane, motherfucker.
Totally. It should have been a thing where Uncle Ben doesn't get shot. He gets fucking railed by a bus.
Yeah, he gets shot by the NYPD while they're towing his car. By the way, love the car. Love the Sam Raimi tradition of putting this car in everything.
Yep.
That's cool.
It's an Evil Dead car.
Yeah.
That's dope. I like this scene, and I think Tobey does well here. Like, he doesn't want to fucking hear this old man's bullshit, but obviously the old man's giving him good advice.
Yeah. By the way, that car needs to be in that Doctor Strange movie, and if Disney cuts out that car, I'm cutting something.
Totally.
Anyway, go on.
Peter, one day you'll get this car, and there's a demonic curse on it, but you'll deal with that then.
Don't listen to this tape that I put in the tape deck because it will summon the Evil Dead.
You know the tape that says Professor Noby's greatest hits? Do not play that tape.
I do. I mean, I think that's what's sort of interesting about this is the problem is they've told this story, and I actually think Homecoming is the best of those MCU Spider-Man movies by a country fucking mile. I haven't seen Far From Home yet because it didn't come out yet by the time this was recorded. And I like that they kind of don't do the Spider-Man origin because we've seen it twice already. But at the same time, like there is something I think kind of missing from that character because of it. It's kind of a weird gamble in a weird way. Like
they're right in not showing
Precisely.
it, but they're wrong in not acknowledging it more.
Yes.
Because I feel, if I'm remembering Homecoming correctly, like it's barely. I think there's like a single line mention.
We mentioned like Uncle Ben is dead. We don't know why or how or any of that.
I want to know if he was a fucking hottie too. You know?
Oh, dude,
Patrick Wilson.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I was gonna say John Stamos.
Either or, dude, or both, dude. Like two Uncle Bens.
Patrick Wilson.
I mean, yeah. In Civil War, it's just literally like he's already there. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm Spider-Man."
Yep.
Hi, Tony.
Yes.
And that's it.
And again, like we've seen this story twice already. We don't need to see it a third time in 20 fucking years. However, I do think you're missing the emotional core of the character.
Your math is off there, right? Because we also had the Amazing Spider-Man, right? Or you two times for those origins.
Yes.
Okay. I think you meant two movies. Yeah, yeah.
Martin Sheen plays him in the Amazing Spider-Man.
That's right.
I forgot previous episodes, by the way.
I don't know if this is a hot take or anything, but I always think the origin story should be in the movie. It's just how much time you dedicate to it and how you show it to people.
I kind of agree with that.
I do think it should be there. It's just that everybody does it in the same way. That takes 35 fucking minutes.
Honestly, I mean, because we got the Robert Pattinson Batman coming up. I know we've seen it to death, but I kind of want to see what they're going to do with it this go versus me just assuming.
Yes, that we know how Bruce Wayne gets started. I mean, because again, like because then it's a movie, right? I mean, it's this weird trade-off where like the audience knows. I mean, like the audience knew the Spider-Man story from this movie, but again, like this was the first. And that's what's so great about this movie is the pageantry of like, now you get to see it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, to your point about the emotional core, that's what is totally confusing about the Tom Holland Peter Parker character. Because like clearly, especially in these Tobey ones, and I guess the Garfield one's enough, but that is all, there's a lot of weight given to like him with his parents and the mystery of all that. Sure. But in these Raimi movies, his guilt over being responsible more or less for Uncle Ben's demise fuels that character, especially like what happens immediately after the death, right? In this movie where he fucking literally kills a man. But but like with Tom Holland, you don't know, like, did he just have cancer and died? Or did he like, was there a similar Peter thing and Peter, caused him to be killed or whatever?
The Tom Holland thing, that's one of the biggest issues with that character that he's playing to me is that the character in this movie is a person who wants to be Uncle Ben, but has these super powers to do, like an ordinary good citizen, but has these powers to help more people. The person that fucking Tom Holland wants to be is Tony Stark, a billionaire. And like you don't get any of the heart about
that's
it.
also the decay of our United States society. You know,
Sure.
at this point, kids want to be billionaires or Instagram influencers. They don't want to be, you know, they don't want to be good people.
I get the reflection.
Which is fine, I guess. Kids fucking do evil. I don't give a shit.
Do evil.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna do it anyway. You know it.
I get how it's reflective of the culture to a certain extent, but it's also a movie. And like, I don't want to see a movie just like, I want to be a billionaire too.
Yeah,
It's fucking boring.
20 years apart, though, and that shows you where we're going. It's all going downhill from here.
suppose that's
And
true.
this is it is a heartbreaking moment right here when he's just like, now, Peter, I'm not trying to be your father. And he cuts him off and just says, then stop pretending to be.
Woo!
Fuck, dude. And this is
dude.
credit to Cliff
Firebomb.
Robertson, man. Like, you can see that little old man's heart shatter into 1,000 pieces.
Where I just wish I was shot dead right now.
What do you think he's doing in between this? Because he's staying in the city, probably.
Crying.
It's so weird, too, right? He's like, I'll be back here to pick you up at 10. 10 o'clock at night. Oof. What
Again,
the
this
fuck?
is seedy shit. Like, oh, you're going to be in the library for 7 hours. See you later, Big Pete.
Also, I mean, it is people get shot everywhere in this city,
sure.
but I just love that they sort of play this as like
42nd and Fifth Avenue.
42nd and Fifth Avenue is some fucking war zone. You know, whatever.
If people
I
don't
don't
know it, it's just where all business guys commute. Like, there's nothing going on.
The
there.
train station is a block away
Yeah.
from it.
There's a whole deployment of fucking of soldiers in that Bryant Park fucking
Well,
train
that's
station.
a
Here's
little
the thing, you know,
later.
the right-wing media talk about like, oh, someone got shot by a stray bullet in Times Square this past year or whatever. It's like, okay.
Yep.
It happens.
Think about all the people that didn't get shot.
Exactly, I agree. So he goes to go do wrestling here.
He goes to do it, man.
Octavia
This is great.
Spencer, a little fun cameo from her. Not a cameo. This is like a great role for her at the time.
Totally, you're in
Yeah.
a big Spider-Man
And she's
movie.
funny.
As
You know,
like
she
a
is.
check-in
Yeah.
counter person at
Yes.
the wrestling match.
Yeah, just
Got
like
a good line.
Yeah, just like whatever. Sized in this twerp. I was like, you're gonna die, and you get fucking the king himself, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, God, dude. Bonesaw was ready. I didn't know that I was ready for Bonesaw.
Uh-huh.
And
He's
here
so
it is.
good.
It's so great. He just he was one of the all-time greats, man.
Yes.
Total showman. And here he is playing Bonesaw.
And it was obviously an affected voice, but no one has ever sounded like that. No one will ever sound like that again. I don't know what he does. I don't know how he did it.
Nope. And there's tons of
It definitely
wrestlers.
shortened his life by talking like that, I'm sure.
Well, I'm sure there's some other things he did. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
He had that heart attack behind the wheel and crashed the car. That's a fucking
Too
horrible way to
many
go.
Slim Jims,
But
heart disease.
tons of wrestlers have come and gone
Yes.
doing angry, grisly voices. Nothing has come close to Macho Man Randy Savage.
It's just, he's so good in this movie.
All right. Sam, you're gonna have to wait. I gotta snort these very thin lines of cocaine. I call them Slim Jims.
Snort into a Slim Jim.
Now we're making Spider-Man. Let's do it.
Oh yeah, we're snorting some meat. Ooh, this meat tube's going up my nose. Some ground beef up in my nose. I just snapped that Slim Jim. Whoa. Oh yeah, it's practically cat food. Yeah, snap into it. I'm gonna vomit. Ooh yeah, hope the FDA doesn't look too closely. Ooh. Grade L meat, baby. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, this meat is cut with fentanyl.
Just when you thought Slim Jims couldn't get any more disgusting, they were like, how about if it was like a 2-pack with a Slim Jim and then some kind of orange cheese stick?
Oh.
My favorite Macho Man Randy Savage thing of all time is him, this little kid's in a library trying to read, and fucking Macho Man bursts in and goes, "Art thou bored?" I will say "Art thou bored" for the rest of my life.
Oh, that's awesome.
The answer is yes.
The cool thing is, on top of Macho Man Randy Savage, of course, it's a fucking Sam Raimi movie. You got Bruce Campbell himself as the ring announcer.
Yeah, this is the cameo. This is fucking great, man.
It's great. He's also good in part 2 too, and he's
I was
with-
Right.
snooty usher.
Yes,
Right,
but
right.
it's I love this, the leather jacket, the sunglasses, and he's doing this Michael Buffer impersonation. He really gets there.
The Flying Dutchman.
And the idea is you have to last 3 minutes in the ring with this guy, and he comes out, everyone's laughing at him, and the Macho Man's Bonesaw McGraw has this cavalcade of dominatrixes with him.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I can't like these women just yelling at him.
Yes,
It's fucking
you got to
wild.
pay $3,000. You don't make $3,000 for that.
Exactly.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah. Oh, I want to walk around in public and have these women spit on me.
I mean, it's a pretty fucking great deal. You get like 6 ladies yelling and berating at you and spitting on you. And then you get a big guy to beat you up. I'm like, yeah, I would pay money for this.
$3,000, dude.
Octavius Spencer's like, now do you want the mean ladies to yell at you to get your confidence up as you go into the ring? Is that's an extra $20? We're going to take it from your end.
Yeah, and any small penis humiliation, that's going to be an extra $50.
Yeah, if you want them to mash your nuts before you walk down to the ring, that's another 20.
And I cannot stress enough, that is a backstage thing. We cannot do that on the way into the ring. That doesn't work.
While they're yelling at him, like towards the end of it, this got a huge belly laugh from me this time. They're taking out another wrestler. Maybe it's the Flying Dutchman or whatever.
God. Ow.
He's like, I can't feel my legs. I am laughing hysterically in my house last night.
I want to see whatever Bonesaw did to that guy. Man.
Paralyzed a man tonight. Yeah.
And now, like, I wish, and like, he was obviously like way older.
Sure.
They're filming this movie around like 2000.
Yeah.
Like, I wish we just had a little more of Macho Man do some wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, you get a little bit of it.
No
it's
flying
okay.
elbow. You want that.
I mean, that's the problem with the scene. I mean, like, the logic of the scene makes no sense because, like, oh, well, I guess spider senses happen sometime.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen while I'm just fighting this guy, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. Because he doesn't do the elbow drop, right?
No, he does not. I don't
Yeah,
believe it.
that kind of sucks.
And like, yeah, it turns into a cage match. Peter gets scared.
I didn't ask for a cage match. Unlock the thing.
And then the groaner of a homophobic. Did
Oh,
your
right.
husband buy that for you? And your dad's laughing at the audience.
Oh, yeah, that's a cute outfit. Yeah.
That's the thing is the hero of the movie is Bonesaw.
Absolutely.
And I agree with everything he has to say. Like when after, that is a terrible line from Spider-Man. Fuck you, Spider-Man. But like, yeah,
Hey, freak show.
it's such a good thing to yell at Spider-Man.
Hey, freak show. No need to punch down. So what if I'm gay, freak show? Me and my husband have a loving relationship.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
At least I get laid.
Just yelling at this 17-year-old
At
kid.
the end of the day, Spider-Man, one of us is getting our dick sucked.
The craziest thing, and I feel again, this is like Peter Parker still does not know like the limits of his own strength and whatever. He's kicking Bonesaw across the ring
Yes.
and he falls into the cage. Like that dude's intestines
Yes,
exploded.
exactly.
Like
Again,
Bonesaw is deady.
Yes, absolutely. Bonesaw is ready for the grave.
he wins, and obviously it's a Spider-Man thing. He goes up to the wrestling promoter, wants his $3,000. He gets $100. He gives him some bullshit. It's like, well, it's supposed to be for 3 minutes. And I was like, get the fuck out of here, kid.
Yeah,
You know?
you pinned him in 2, so you're getting 100, and you're lucky I'm giving you that.
Yeah. So, and he's got all this cash in front of him, and this guy robs him.
I love the other guy because this like seedy office for like the fight promoter. It's the guy that Peter's having an argument with, but then there's other guy definitely has that green like I'm handling money visor,
Yeah,
and he
that.
like barely turns around like I'm counting other money behind you.
Look, kid, I can't pay you. I got to go do an opening spot for Jim Brewer. So just, get out of here. You pinned him in 2. Come on.
And he winds up grabbing all this cash, and the guy steals it. And like the idea that I think I've said this in every episode, the idea that Peter Parker, any human being, is supposed to stop a dude with a gun for somebody else's money, like no way.
Nope, of course not.
No, not at all.
Absolutely not. And that's what's great because he throws the line back in the guy's face because the guy says, that's not my problem. And so then he's like, well, oh my God, you could have stopped him. He took all my money. And then you have Tobey being like, I fail to see how that's my problem.
Well, yeah, he's going to get it in a minute. But I mean, honestly, if I was in his shoes, I'd do the same thing. I'd be like, oh, no, actually, you know what, dude? Close the closed door button. Just hit that. That'll help. That'll help. Hit it a lot of times.
Spider-Man should have done in this scenario would be to knock out the thief, take the money and run.
Yep.
And suddenly, your uncle's alive and you're a lot richer. You're a
Exactly.
criminal now, but that's fine.
Yeah, you didn't give
You're
your
criminal
real name.
anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Quick question.
Everything you do is criminal.
Do you think Randy Savage ever hung out with the Pussy Posse? Like maybe he's like trying to.
Well, you got a magician. Maybe you need a wrestler. Me and Leo doing drinks with the ladies.
Here it is, dude. I think it was a real fucking wake-up call for the Pussy Posse because I think they were like, oh, hey, Macho Man, Randy, you want to come like hang out with us? We have a magician. We have a bunch of actors. Now we need a cool wrestler. It would be great for you. And it was just like,
I don't think so, little kids. What do you think this is? In my free time, I wrestle gators in my Florida backyard.
I like meat.
We have nothing in common. These actresses need some meat on their bones. Oh, yeah.
All right, I guess we should just maybe for a wrestler. Maybe we'll just ask John Cena. Maybe, what is he, like 13 now?
yeah, much younger John Cena.
I haven't done coke since 1986, and I'd like to keep it that way. Oh, yeah.
It's still all in the bloodstream.
These kids got problems. Hey, Tobey, you should probably go to sleep. Leo, call your mother. Here's some notes on your movie, Don's Plum. Ooh, yeah, that Jenny Lewis, she's going places.
Oh, wait. The guy from Mad Men is in the Pussy Posse? Nice to meet you.
If only, man. There's your Marvel what if.
Oh yeah, Macho Man.
What if Macho Man Randy Savage joined the Pussy Posse?
The Pussy Posse should be entered into, Marvel in general.
Well, you start the movies and it's just Tobey Maguire, and then it's like Leo at the end of the movie is like, we'd like to invite you to do something.
You want to come smoke at this diner? We'll tell you all about it.
Now, if any younger listeners, that are going to do evil later are checking us out for the first time, the Pussy Posse was this famous gang and entourage. I guess a gang, maybe is more accurate.
Yeah.
That were famous actors or would be famous actors.
It was Leo, Tobey, Kevin Connolly, David Blaine, Lucas Haas, and some others in various configurations.
And they did a terrible movie called Don's Plum, which we did a cider of sleaze on our Patreon.
Easily the sleaziest of the bunch.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
But Uncle Ben is gunned down a little after his prime here, but he is gunned down for sure.
By the way, that reminds me though, I'm pretty sure Cliff Robertson says in this movie that Uncle Ben is 65 years old.
Okay.
Whatever you say.
Did he smoke in his sleep too?
Sleeping cigarette.
Ben, you really need to cut out the sleeping cigarettes.
Man, yeah, no smoking in bed, kids. Definitely not one. That's a
but
recipe for disaster.
He's shot. I forget what he has like a touching last moment.
No, he did. There's no line, but he just says, Peter.
Yeah.
Peter. Like, it's one of those, like, oh my. Like Kirk dying,
He really gets it. Then Peter puts his mask back on, chases this dude. Fun Spider-Manning around here, spinning some webs.
I bet he had some, I know he lost his job, but I bet they had some life insurance on this guy.
Yeah.
I bet everything's fucking great. Right
now. Aunt May's sitting pretty, dude.
Oh, yeah. Not this useless mouth she was feeding. Gone.
Now she got some side piece from Flash Thompson.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, but no, there was a stipulation in the life insurance policy. You get everything, Aunt May, unless he is shot to death outside of a library. Fuck.
That's the one thing.
What an obnoxious clause.
You got to read it all before you sign.
Peter, oh my God, Peter, I just heard. You have to move the body up the street to the Gap. If he is shot in front of the Gap, we get paid double.
Just for good measure, take him to Grand Central. Just for good measure. Oh, God.
And May, I threw him on the tracks.
Oh, excellent. Now we're getting that city money as well.
Oh, you know what? I'm just going to fill this house with computers.
I'm going to
just to shove it in his stupid old face.
And I'm going to sue the city, the Metro North, and
we're in the money. We're in the money.
You lying about going to that wrestling event was the best thing you ever did for this family.
My husband's dead and I'm rich now, you idiots.
I'm going to have a new suitor come over, and we're going to, guess what? We're going to marry him, and then we're going to off him, too.
Oh, hello. I'm going on a date with, who's this? Mr. Tony Stark.
You're the Spider-Man, and I'm the Black Widow.
Yes, Aunt May is the Black Widow. So he chased this dude to an abandoned warehouse, like you do.
Sure.
At first he doesn't know because they say he's a carjacker. He realizes, oh my god, that's the guy from the wrestling event.
And here's points off for making this movie for the lowest common denominator because it's this fucking guy with hilarious out of the bottle Clorox bleach hair. Yeah. Very noticeable, very memorable, this man.
Yeah.
And when Peter sees him in the warehouse, we have to cut back to slow motion this guy running by him back at the wrestling room.
Because he also thanks him. That's kind of that's the salt in the wound. Thanks.
But it's just I fucking got it, man. I understand it's the same guy.
This actor, by the way, he's been around a lot, even lately, just small parts. He was a cop in Unhinged, the 2020 movie. So was he the guy that gets run over, appears and dies immediately?
That could be.
I don't know. I mean, he's got some.
Is his name Michael Papajohn, I think?
Yeah, that's right. He was played a cop in one episode of True Detective.
No, sadly, I'm not the owner of Papa John's. It's not me. It's another guy.
That would have been nice, but catch me at the Laugh Factory.
Yes. The last name might fool you, but yes.
I like because it subverts the need for a lot of probably not greatly delivered melodramatic lines from Tobey Maguire because he's not great. I love what he just comes home after the death. Aunt May and him embrace Aunt May is clearly devastated. And Raimi does a great job of just it's shot in such a way that everything's telegraphed. You don't need a single line of dialogue for this.
Oh my God, I heard an elderly man was shot outside of my batch. I gotta go visit the widow. I'm paying for the funeral. My condolences. Apologies, I always talk like this, but I am sorry for your loss. It's a medical condition. Art thou bored?
Funeral.
He's talking to the body or something. By the way, one last Papa John report, because we talked about it earlier.
Papa
He's an
John
Ang Lee's Hulk as technician.
Oh,
so just small ass roles.
I'm telling you guys, go back and give it a shot with open eyes. It's a lot of fun.
It is. It's quite worth. I have the 4K. It's beautiful.
Oh, nice. It's a lot of fun.
Peter graduates, and Harry graduates. Everyone graduates. That's how that works.
Yeah.
We get a secret, not really ever discussed again, goblin attack.
Oh, yeah.
Where he murders one of America's military here in this test thing.
This would immediately get you on the international watch list,
Absolutely.
by the way.
Although,
totally.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be on the news because it was a secret thing.
It's a secret thing, but you would be hunted by the CIA.
It's the competing company that's now going to take over Oscorp's government contract.
Yes.
And they're in the test bunker, and Green Goblin flies by, bombs it. Awesome transition of the fiery flames to the graduation hats being
really
tossed into the sky.
And if you want to talk about brilliant, I mean, this tells you so the idea of now the Green Goblin, Norman Osborn is the Green Goblin now.
Yes.
He is turned into that right when Peter Parker is graduating.
Yes.
I mean, it's just such a perfect little moment to have.
They do, and the original script had Doc Ock as a secondary. I mean, there's a trillion scripts for this. Obviously, it's in development forever. But really, right before they went into development, it was Norman Osborn and Doc Ock. And the smart move, Raimi, was it should just be one villain, and we can play up the surrogate father stuff.
I wish he listened to himself for the third movie.
Yes.
Because that was Venom, Sandman, and still
Rhino.
Harry Osborn gobbling around.
And Rhino.
Oh, no,
that's
you're thinking of
Garfield.
Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, that's Garfield?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it's Garfield.
Yeah.
But Sandman, what are we doing here, folks?
What are we doing? But it just I mean, but it's so smart here. It's just they parallel path it, and they both have enough screen time and you feel enough for both characters. You really understand them both. And I mean, like, I also think that first Homecoming, the Vulture makes a lot of sense, and Keaton's fantastic, and that's he's probably the best, like a top 2 MCU villain for sure.
It's awesome.
Those movies always have a villain problem because they don't go big with the casting, and that's what this does. It's like fucking Dafoe. Get Dafoe in there, let him Dafoe.
When you say like MCU current like villains, it's Keaton and Killmonger, you know?
Yeah, and Hiddleston too.
Yeah.
But then
I think Hiddleston as Loki is good. Yeah, Killmonger, very good. Michael B. Jordan.
That's I mean, like a lot of it. I mean, even movies I like the Guardians movies never have a good villain.
You don't get enough of him.
Russell's good, but
you don't get enough of him. But I liked Corey Stoller in Ant-Man.
Yes,
I thought he was
sure.
good. Yellow Jacket.
That's a total waste of Corey Stoll in that movie, though, because he's tremendous. And that movie, I like that movie, but the villain is an afterthought in favor of how cool is all the Ant-Man stuff, like, which is, I guess, okay, but like feels like a total
because I mean, like the MCU had a smart idea, which is, I mean, also Bridges as Obadiah Stane that counts.
Oh yes, very much. Yeah, he's great in that.
But like they always because the Batman movies and really like it's all about the villain. So it's like, oh, let's dial that back and make it more about the hero, which this movie does really well as well. They equalize it. In the other ones, they make it way too much about only the hero and the good guys. The villain is kind of always more often than not an afterthought.
That's an interesting thing to say about that second Raimi one, though, because Doc Ock is again like a surrogate father situation, and it's like, okay, I saw you do that already. I mean, he's still awesome in that movie, Molina. Like it's still great, and whatever. We'll see about this new one.
Sure.
He's wearing a bad wig, but I think it's cool that he's playing the character.
Yes.
I don't know.
Right, yeah. I'm excited for maybe Dafoe is back, right?
It seems like he might be.
Maybe.
They're keeping, I just watched, because again, we got all these trailers. We have to have 1,000 fucking trailers. There's like a new one out just this week, and they're still keeping him out of it, which is, I think, smart. So you don't really know which way the wind's blowing, but
hopefully it's not Dane DeHaan.
Don't please don't say that.
But so he graduates and Harry's like, hey Pete, you hit the lottery. I'm your rich friend. I'm going to take care of it. He's like, you don't say. Look at all this falling into my lap accidentally.
Wow, my plan is coming to fruition. I mean, thanks so much for your generous support.
Oh, and my uncle died. Did you hear my uncle died? I have this huge empty sack with a $sign on it. I'm just a poor little orphan.
All right, Peter, I'm going to buy you a new uncle.
We get
new uncle, and here he is. Hi, Pete.
Ooh, your aunt can fuck. Let's talk about puberty. After you put me in the wheelchair, I needed new work, and I'm gonna be your uncle. Let's paint the kitchen, Michelangelo. Norman Osborn's paying me a ton of money to be here. Computer analyst. I heard a special little boy lost his uncle recently. I'm your surrogate Uncle Bonesaw.
Man, Uncle Bonesaw. That's a cartoon I could have watched.
Oh, you came home too late last night, so I gotta smack you around. Any teeth loose? Put them under the pillow. I'll give you $1.
Yeah. Put it in Randolph Bonesaw. $2,000 a week.
Randolph Bonesaw.
Terrific.
Yeah, it was like Bone Soskanowski or something. It was a hatchet job at Ellis Island.
Failed your science exam. Time for a choke slam.
Love it.
So we get a nice montage of him Spider-Manning around, saving people, getting some reactions from New Yorkers. These movies love talking to New Yorkers. We get Jim Norton as an angry truck driver.
I don't like him.
Yeah. And Lucy Lawless as a quick little, she's the one's like, ew, a guy with 8 hands sounds pretty hot.
That's Lucy Lawless?
Best buds with Sam Raimi.
I had no idea either. Nice. That's awesome, right? Because they were involved in the Xena series.
Yes, he did that.
Oh, I forgot that Raimi was involved with that.
And he did and Ted is all over that show.
Oh,
He's
that's right.
We should, Ted Raimi we'll see soon enough in this movie as a number 2 to J. Jonah Jameson.
And they take this montage right up to, this is how we meet J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson.
fucking fire sale, dude. This guy rules. It's
Absolutely
just-
born to play this part.
and like he burned the role down, really,
Yeah.
because like they couldn't recast it in the Amazing movies. They never thought to do it because like, what are we gonna do? And then like they're like, I guess maybe we'll have to bend reality to get fucking J.K. Simmons back in the role for MCU because that's the only thing that makes sense.
because of the end of that second Holland one, you see him, but he's like fucking cue ball.
Yes.
I mean, just looks more like J.K.
Yeah.
Simmons, but
I totally forgot that.
it's at the very because the end of that second Holland movie, Jonah
right.
Jameson
No-
like outs Peter Parker.
No
as
Way
being
Home,
Spider-Man.
right?
Yes, yeah. That's like because like it's like that 2 seconds of like my life's great and I'm fucking Zendaya and it's awesome,
Yeah.
and then it's like Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and like all of Times Square finds
It's
out.
amazing that I watched that movie like 2 months ago for the first time.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
One of the worst.
it is
Easily
it's
one of the
1,000% one of the worst of the MCU, I think.
Just-
And I'm,
Yeah.
so I'm
Yes.
holding out hope for this next one because again, I did like Homecoming, but Simmons is fantastic, and like they do. And I mean, to talk about the trailer of the new one, there's this like silly joke which really bugged me when like Alfred Molina goes to Tom Holland. They're like, "Oh, what's your name?" He's like, "I'm Dr. Otto Octavius," and they sort of like snicker, like, "But what's your real name?"
That's
and
the MCU comedy tone that I
Ooh.
do not care
exactly
for.
because in this world because that's in this world.
Hey, just go with it.
Exactly. It's a comic book, dude. It's a fucking comic
Yeah.
book. It's a cartoon, and that's what Raimi gets, and that's what J.K. Simmons gets. And like, he's a big old cigar chomping joke, and it fucking works. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like,
It,
it's
and
not
that only works because he's committed to it.
exactly.
Yes.
And you can't be committed if someone's like, "Your name's Dr. Otto Octavius."
What are you talking? I prefer these Spider-Mans that look like, Apple products, essentially. Like, that's the thing. It's all so mannered. It's
Yes,
all
exactly.
so tight and neat. Fuck, I hate them.
But he's just swinging for the fences here. I
Yeah.
love him berating the great Bill Nunn
Rest in
Yes.
peace.
and Ted Raimi. Ted Raimi keeps coming in about some advertising issue and
Elizabeth Banks. Dude, I love her whole thing in this movie is to call in because like his wife is calling about like home remodeling issues.
Yes.
It's all so fucking funny. And watching Simmons like yelling at 3 different people
Yeah.
about 3 different things
Yes.
at the same time. Like you want to talk about juggling, dude.
Yeah.
He's juggling this scene.
It's so
great.
rat-a-tat-tat. They're doing like a His Girl Friday, the
Yes.
cadence going back and forth. I fucking love him in this movie.
You buy him as an old timey newspaper
Yes.
guy.
There is actually like a vaudeville type look to these scenes, like when Ted
Yes.
Raimi coming
Oh, yeah.
in and coming out and all that
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's all pretty. It's amazing.
And we're also, I mean, a little bit of a nod, at least, to the 79 Superman movie, 78 Superman movie. Like, that whole like newspaper world. I mean, obviously, it owes a little to it, but it is so its own thing.
And it's kind of cool too because Simmons, the way that they gussy him up here, I mean, you look at J. Jonah Jameson in the comics,
Yes.
and that is a cartoon character.
Yes.
And they make him look like that. It's not a like more grounded interpretation of what that would look
Exactly.
like. He looks like a cartoon character with the fucking hair, and they even make this is how you make jokes about these characters,
Yes.
where he has some line about his barber. And-
The only man I trust is my barber.
yes, and it's like that's great because it's a shitty haircut, but he loves it, and that's what the joke is,
And again, like you have this world where this character can exist and should exist. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yes.
Like as opposed to trying to make it so hyper realistic and gray and nothing.
Nobody would hire an editor that looks like that. No. It's unbelievable, this Spider-Man
Like-
movie.
I usually do appreciate stuff to be a little grounded, but when you're dealing with this material, you gotta like let go a little bit.
Exactly, and have fucking fun with it. And that's what they're doing.
It should be fun. Period.
And so Peter realizes he can get money by taking photos for Spider-Man. He comes back to Jonah's office and he's got these incredible photographs. And he looks and he's like, crap. It's just such a fucking funny. bit.
What I love here too, it's a great moment of like, he does the crap, and he's like, "Give you $100 for him," and then Peter's like, "All right, well, I'll take my photos somewhere else," and he goes to leave. Bill Nunn has a great he grabs him, kind of like just stay here. No, this is all part of the thing. Sit back down. And he winds up giving him $300 instead.
And he's like, yeah, you're not gonna be on staff. You'll be freelance. And the idea is like Spider Menace, blah blah blah. And it's a great and that is something that I love about this movie is like the yellow journalism of it all. Like what I mean? Like it plays pretty well.
And also, like, for New York, like this is kind of like a New York Post type of
Absolutely.
thing, right?
Yep, totally.
By the way, you know who when it was going to be a canon movie, and all throughout the idea always was, who would be great for J. Jonah Jameson? Stan Lee.
Oh.
And like he was even like, and it was always something he was always talking about. He's like, whenever the Spider-Man movie comes out, I'm gonna be J. Jonah Jameson. Fucking Simmons comes out. He's like, well, he was fantastic, wasn't he, folks?
I shaved that little girl under the balcony. Did you see that? It's coming up in a scene in a minute.
Yeah, I kind of push a little girl. That's
I push her down and I run away.
Yeah.
Goblin, take her, not me.
Go, Goblin, I don't want to die.
I have so much left to give, Goblin. I lived through Vietnam.
Meanwhile, while all this is going on, Norman is forced out of his own company, influenced by these stakeholders and like the U.S. military or whatever.
Well,
and
the joke
I love,
is, the idea is that they're making so much money now they could sell the company without him. I'm sorry.
they don't. Yeah. Well, part of it was to make the sale go through.
Yes.
They said that Norman has to be out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So it's like, we really want this money, man. We're going to do what these folks say and sell it off and you're out, whatever. And I love one of these old bastards is just like, you're out, Norman, and gleefully and evilly sips this cup of coffee without breaking eye contact with Dafoe. It's very funny.
And Dafoe loses his shit. He's like, I built this fucking company! And it's the idea with the Goblin is he doesn't know that he's the Green Goblin. Like
Norman doesn't know that
he just kind of goes back and forth. And the schizo stuff is so. And again, that's Dafoe all over. Like duality is just something he can do. Like nobody
You can't do this to me.
Do you know how much I sacrifice? That's right.
The sacrifice line is so good.
So awesome. And then the guy is like, oh, well, it's too late, Norman. It's already going through. We're announcing the sale after you all know it, kids, World Unity Festival.
Featuring Macy Gray.
Dude, how about everybody, we take a lunch break and do a real quick back to the drawing board on the World Unity Festival.
Oscorp World
Unity. It didn't work because of the Green Goblin.
Yeah, sure. It would have.
Yeah, that's what
would have sailed through.
By the way, I think right before we get to the Unity Festival, there is a scene of Peter Parker running into MJ on the street.
Oh, right.
She fakes like, oh, I'm going to auditions or whatever.
Working at the world famous, now out of business Moondance Diner.
Right. But this is a great fucking line of dialogue up there with, you know how much I sacrificed. Hello, Miss Watson. I'm talking to you.
Oh, yeah.
It is great.
I get you, Enrique.
I love you. I get you. All right. Like, it's just like a real fucking.
Yeah.
And it's just an embarrassing, like, her drawer was short by $6 and this dude's taking it out of her ass.
And it's like, dude, I don't know. Like, and she's like pretending like she's like, oh, I have all these auditions, Peter. I'm going to be on Broadway. It's like, I don't know, dude, you're 19. Of course you'd be working at a diner. Like, that's what you do.
Yeah, I'm working at this diner and auditioning, and that's reality.
Oh, Peter, I'm so embarrassed. I don't know 3 homes and 5 cars already, and I'm only 23. I can't
see.
Don't look at me.
I keep losing all my auditions to this Rooney Mara person. I keep waking up really late because I've been working my ass off, and she goes to the interviews fresh as a fucking daisy.
Bullseyeing it, my friend. That's the thing. It's like, if you want a career in the arts, well, I hope you're born rich with a silver spoon up your ass and mouth and where every hole and.
That's been the nepotism report from Eric's sister.
Dude, it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
I'm going to get a special theme for you on that one.
So this Unity Festival, here's a weird thing about it that I was paying attention to closely this time is part of it is Times Square, but it's fake geography because it's like it's supposed to be in the heart of Times Square, but then like if you turn like 90 degrees, there's this incredibly fake building right there that doesn't exist. Yeah. And that's like I guess it's the base of the Oscorp building.
I guess so.
Because they're all out on this balcony. It's like the Oscorp board members. And then like MJ and Harry are there. And he's like, where's my dad? And like this guy's not telling him that they fired his father, which is kind of great.
And we get some good Harry Osborn being a fucking scuzz ass here. He's like, I told you to wear the black dress. My dad likes black. You got to look hot for my dad.
Look, I should be erect and he should be erect. That's how it goes here with the Osborns.
I mean, maybe he's got a point because I think the black dress would have been nice versus this. She's a hostess at a restaurant in 1998 or something.
Yeah, totally. She looks like the woman that George Costanza breaks up with and she's like, tell me, I want to know the truth. And he's like, you're pretentious. You wear the chopsticks in your hair. Like it's that exact costume.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
And Peter's taking photos of the Unity Festival, and he already knows that he finds out in the moon dance scene that Harry is dating her. He's been keeping that, and he's like, "Oh man!" And like,
but that can't stop me from taking some pictures.
Oh yeah, he's like, "Oh, I'm just here for Jonah Jameson, but also some pictures,
dude." And then
I'm all the way down here. She's all the way up there. Hello, upskirt.
You'll never see me do this.
People just think I'm taking a picture of this singular sign in Times Square.
What the hell, Parker? You got no pictures of Macy Gray, only this white lady. What the hell, Parker?
You really like her thighs, I guess. Jesus Christ.
Told you to get there for Macy Gray.
Fucking Harry, and Harry spies him from there. He's like, hey, you, stop that. Stop that. Stop, Peter. Stop doing that.
Here's a question, though, because Harry does try to kiss her right here.
Yeah.
Is that before or after he notices Peter? Because if it's after, man, that's a
No, it's before, because he actually does feel bad. Because again, they have a good relationship.
Then, listen, why fucking date the girl that your best friend and roommate has been pining for since childhood?
You are a child billionaire. Like, go find another lady.
You can find a girl that looks just like that in 10 seconds.
I might ruin a friendship for Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I might just do it.
Well, then here's the thing. Fucking do it then.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
fucking keep him around and do puppy dog eyes.
Absolutely.
With the move is you just go in. Hey, Pete, how's it going, dude? You enjoying this free rent? Oh, yeah, enjoying the free rent. Enjoying the fact that you're probably going to get a job with my dad one day? Yep, definitely enjoying that. So here's the deal, pal. You don't have to pay rent, and I'm going to fuck your high school crush. Sorry, buddy. Them's the breaks.
I think it's a perfectly fair trade-off.
I think so, too, dude.
Absolutely.
Saving like $1,200 a month.
But then it needs to be addressed.
Exactly.
In some
you got to
way.
get it down on paper. And then then she finds out later, like, you have a contract?
I was just a stupid contract.
Now, Peter, I am going to tell you what it's like to fuck her, but only once. So you just get ready for that, okay?
Oh, I can't wait for that day.
Oh, it's going to be so great.
Don't worry,
You're
buddy.
going to tell me right here in my rent-free apartment. Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah, Christmas is coming soon there, buddy.
I totally kind of forget the sequels to this movie. Does Peter ever get to bust inside of her? What's going on?
Oh, they get together.
They get together. I don't
so he's
know.
busting inside.
Yes.
Okay.
I think there's implied sex. Like they're in a web and they're like kind of rolling around.
Oh, he's putting some webs in there. Got it.
Like they get together at the end of the second movie.
No,
What's
pretty
all the
early
stuff
on
with
in the second
is
one. I think,
her
'cause-
running with the wedding dresses in that movie, right?
I forget.
That's a
No, that's
third one.
Melancholia.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the planet's coming in and Peter can't stop the planet, I think.
Yeah, see, that's when you
Yeah.
get fucking Doctor Strange involved, by the way. There's a planet coming and it's going to bump into our planet.
Melancholia, Peter. Better move it.
All right, Peter, quick, let's get to this golf course.
Keep moving past the stables.
I don't know what Kiefer Sutherland is doing. Forget him.
I can't say that she's responsible for the pandemic, but
Uh-oh.
the Saturday before everything shut down, we recorded here. I visited my wife and a buddy. We watched Invisible Man, went out for drinks, and on the walk back, me and my wife spotted walking the other way Charlotte Gainsbourg. And I'm like, she was the last horseman of the apocalypse for the pandemic for me. And it kind of fits with the melancholia. It's just sort of like,
works.
Yeah.
I just, it was like, ooh, Charlotte Gainsbourg. Oh, wait, the world is ending?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. The evidence is mounting. So in comes the goblin attack, and he bombs this fucking building.
He turns some people into skeletons.
rules.
Dude, the whole board of Oscorp gets turned into skeletons. And like, while this skeleton effect does not hold up in any way, man, is it still great.
I kind of like it.
are the skeleton. Oh, we're dead.
The one thing
You
that
never
was
expected to be hit by my skeleton ray.
I didn't notice this. Does the guy in the wheelchair, do you see the wheelchair just still sitting there?
It turns into bone. No,
Yeah.
no. It'd be cool to have a
skeleton
bone
brain.
skeleton, actually.
I think they're all
like a
standing
bone
up,
wheelchair.
Well, there's no one guy is in a wheelchair.
Yeah,
one of the
I know,
Oscorp
but
guys.
like, when they turn into skeletons, I think they're all like.
They all stand up.
Yeah,
for
I think
some
they're all
the
reason.
skeleton
Yeah, yeah.
stands up?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting.
Uh,
And this is like your first big like Spider-Man Goblin fight.
And the balcony is falling. He wants to save Mary Jane. But
yeah,
holy
one
shit.
moment I like is there's a child that's about to be hit by the stage, and even Spider-Man's like, "Come on, kid, could you fucking move? Could you do anything? Could you save yourself at all?"
Nope, this kid has accepted his imminent demise, dude. He's just staring at this like sign or something's gonna fall on him.
Let
He's
it
just like,
happen.
Take me now,
Yeah.
God.
Well, Mom and Dad told me they're divorcing this morning. Might as well go out this way.
I got the math test tomorrow. Didn't study for that. Let it happen,
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Well, that statistically, that kid won't amount to anything.
No,
right?
for
That's
sure.
true.
Statistically, I could probably get shot at school, dude.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I love how the way that Spider-Man sort of fends off the Goblin at the end of this fight is by fisting the underside of the glider and just ripping a bunch of shit out, making it go haywire.
And again, in an incredibly corny line of dialogue, but again, it's Dafoe and it's this movie. It's like, we'll meet again, Spider-Man.
Totally. After he's also been webbed right in the face,
Yes.
which is awesome.
It's like, and again, I think that corniness works. I do.
I agree.
I think the corniness is what it needs.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Making it serious is what's the problem. Like Batman Returns, I guess you could from the outside say it's a serious movie, but like there's a lot of corny things
Now, there's
about
some
that
goofy
movie.
shit in that movie.
That's what makes it work.
Yeah, because I'd rather have like corny stuff than like so that happened humor.
Yes.
Yep.
You know,
Yep, exactly.
The eye rollers.
So he saves MJ. He swings up to this like beautiful rooftop where like I think there's this couple that gets interrupted when they land on the roof, and I think like this guy's trying to angle for like a hey Jay or like maybe like a rooftop beach or something.
Fuck, that's awesome.
Because they sort of separate because they're clearly making out and they're both like, wow, what? Oh, Spider-Man.
Well, because they're getting down to some Macy Gray. They got a free Macy Gray concert, dude.
Totally.
I got a blowjob on the roof. No, that's not it.
I tried to glide over Times Square. I exploded.
A nut in her mouth. That's more Macy Gray.
Yeah, there
That's
you
the
go.
cadence.
That's the cadence for sure.
And she's like, who are you? And he's like, you know who I am. I'm your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And he flies away. She's so fucking horny for Spider-Man now, though.
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
on.
I will say I like the costume a lot. The more
It
that I looked at
works.
it, the
Yeah, I
costume looks
dig
really-
it.
His Spider-Man costume looks. We haven't talked about it.
Oh, yeah. No,
Is
the
it-
Spider-Man costume looks totally awesome. Really,
Like the
really
white
love it.
webs are a little flashy, but I like it. You know what I mean? They could have gone like black, obviously, like we always
Right.
do, or something stupid.
The shots where they first show it off, like the full costume after the city talks him up or whatever.
Yes.
That's the shots we get the 9/11 World Trade Center reflected
Yes.
in his eyes.
Right.
Which honestly, I thought they would have CGI'd out.
I think it's better not to.
I'm fine with it.
Yes, yeah, but you're right. That we were doing that a lot back.
Well, that was the
Yeah.
thing, was movies that were coming out like in the subsequent years from that, most of them pretended like it didn't happen.
Exactly.
Right.
And you either didn't show Lower Manhattan, or if you did, they were left in like this. It wasn't until Spike Lee was like, no, I'm going to make a movie, and part of it is at Ground Zero.
Yes.
And Spike was the first one that like acknowledged that had happened.
Most people don't know this, but Man on Wire was actually finished in 1999, and they've had to put it back for all these years just because people got sensitive. You know?
I'm just saying, look into that guy. He had blueprints. He knew stuff.
He was going around those towers a little too much. for my
Case in the
likes.
joint. Yep.
Philip Petit did it.
Oh yeah, you're a fucking mime or whatever. You go to fucking jail.
Yeah.
Alexander Jones just screaming about Philip Petit.
You call him Alexander?
I know, I like that.
That's what the fucking court's going to call him. He's sentenced to life in prison.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Defoe in the mirror is kind of around
Oh,
here,
it's
and this is him talking to himself. The split personality shit right here is just all so great.
He's like, "Who do you think we did this together?" And apparently, the really weird IMDb trivia thing was apparently Defoe's got famously like kind of not amazing teeth, like but like very Defoe teeth. Apparently, for Norman Osborn, the studio was like, well, it wouldn't make sense for him to have like you have to cap them, so like he's a billionaire.
You can't have your trash teeth if you're playing a rich man.
Exactly, they're not even bad, but but for this scene. When he's Norman Osborn, he's got the cap teeth, but when he's the Green Goblin, he doesn't. So they're doing a lot of weird stuff with his hair too. Like he's like, you know what I mean? He's doing it.
And there's a great moment where, because they are more or less doing like a cut between.
Yes.
But there's one where the shot is the camera's still behind Defoe, but you're seeing the face of like the Goblin in the mirror, and it ends on like a big smile.
and Dafoe turns around back toward the camera. And as you start to see his face, you see the smile go away.
Yeah.
So it's like it goes from looking at quote unquote two people to acknowledging that it's the same person making the facial expressions in the mirror.
It's great.
It's
And
awesome.
Dafoe is fucking amazing in this movie.
Yes.
He really is.
And it's what's kind of great is like once this unity thing happens, the Green Goblin attacks just amp up because right after this immediately is J. Jonah Jameson being like, and another thing about Spider-Man, and the fucking wall explodes to his office. There's the Goblin again.
I love the line he has. Like he names him the Green Goblin. It's like all these bozos need a name. The Green Goblin. He goes to Ted Raimi. He's like, whenever somebody says a Green Goblin, I want a quarter. You know?
How about the Green Meanie?
Oh, right, because he says to Ted Raimi, call the patent office.
I love when he throws a cigar out the window and then it flies back.
That's so cool.
I mean, I really don't want to just keep on fucking hammering on why the MCU fucking sucks and just rules. But like, honestly, the fact like all the action scenes in MCU is just like a bunch of guys with guns. We're gonna make it. We're the Team 7. Let's go. Yeah. And then it's just a fucking bomb goes off in fucking Aunt May's house.
Yes.
In fucking Jonah Jameson's office. It's a big fucking act. It gets your attention.
It does.
And what's a big act we come to find is J. Jonah Jameson has a little bit of a heart of gold.
Yes.
He will like hide the photographer's name from the Green Goblin.
Yep.
He's protecting Peter in this scene, it's pretty rad.
He believes in protecting sources.
You could also argue that he's protecting the flow of Spider-Man photos that are making him money.
That's very true.
But
He's protecting
I'd
his
rather
money.
die than have circulation go down.
It does make him a three-dimensional character, even
Yeah.
though he's so cartoonish. You know what I mean? To be able to,
Yeah, it's still. You are surprised.
Yeah, I mean, this green demon has him by his throat.
I'd give up anyone in these people in this room.
Absolutely. I'd
At least
give
there
you
won't
guys
be
up a second.
alimony anymore.
Be like, kill Steve. It's not me you want. It's him.
But yeah, so Spider-Man shows up right here, of course. And is this the slave?
Yes,
He gasses him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
the
so
sleep.
fucking 1960s Batman. And he wakes up, and it's not a huge problem with the movie because there needs to be something to do. But he's like, "We can rule the world together, you and I, Spider-Man. Me with all my goblin shit, you." I don't know, walking on walls.
What I love about this scene, though, is the nonchalance of like him walking over there in that. And this is where the suit works in a way because it's like so huge and opposing. You don't expect him to like walk to Spider-Man and just like hit him on the shoulder and lean on the building and be like, so here's the thing.
Yeah. No, it worked for me here. But what's weird is like, because Spider-Man tells him to go fuck himself. Like, I'm not going to join you, whatever. And then like the Goblin is going to just like fly away and they have him like jump onto the glider and go. And it's a real like person jumping and turning into a cartoon.
Yeah.
Like that transition doesn't super hold up anymore.
Yeah.
But I do like the cockiness here, even that like not killing him and stuff like that. I mean, I would feel this way because I just two of the biggest terrorist fucking attacks of the last decade are now under my belt in 1 week. I would be like, yeah, fuck it. Fucking Peter Parker gonna do me.
And the Green Goblin has, a good point here. Like, eventually, people will hate you despite all you do for them, which I feel every day reading the comments about these episodes. Despite all I do for you. Really? You're going to write that?
This is a comic book episode. You're going to hear a lot of those. The next is like the Thanksgiving sequence. This is kind of this movie and what we're actually going to do.
Hang on. I'm sorry.
You're missing over. You're passing up the best part of the movie.
Oh, am I?
For me in 2002.
Dude, the fucking upside down kissing in the rain.
This is the Hooters scene.
Dude, these
It's
things
outrageous.
with the 4K transfers. I'm like, holy shit!
And you know what? You'll never see that in an MCU movie.
But
Right, because they're sexless.
Well, yeah, and it's also like the 2000s were very like, let's see some Hooters.
That's true.
Yeah,
Fuck.
it's
we
a little
gotta
bit
go
both.
back.
I mean, look, sometimes you want to see Hooters. Sometimes you want to see dicks and buns and
Yes, for
balls.
sure.
Wouldn't it be great if they had full fucking dong in some superhero movie?
Totally. There's Andrew Garfield's fucking
Or
schlong
like
just wagging
Shazam.
around.
Like, oh my God, look at this thing.
You can't do that with Shazam,
You
though,
can't do
dude.
it.
That's a little kid.
Wait, I got a man dick? Holy
See,
shit!
right?
Look at my hammer.
They have to have done that in that movie,
I
right?
didn't see it.
I
I slept through most of that movie.
We saw it together, and I
we
completely forget it
yeah,
immediately.
Yeah, and we were in a state.
Folks at home, is there a hog comment in Shazam?
Either
There
way,
might be,
you
actually.
had your chance here and now. Who has the best dick in Hollywood? Willem Dafoe. It's humongous.
That's true.
Goblin dick.
It's true, by the way. There are pictures. It's
Oh,
fucking
really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I think
no.
Godzilla's tail.
I believe even like Madonna was like, dude, that guy's got a huge dick.
Really?
Yeah,
I want to see like him and Liam Neeson.
Yeah,
like,
it's going to be like a
entangled.
lightsaber Sith versus Jedi.
Duel of the Dicks.
Yeah, Qui-Gon Jinn. Man, Willem Dafoe should be in a Star Wars thing already.
Oh,
yeah,
shit, dude.
that's something.
He would be too scared. He'd be too good as a Sith. Like he would
He'd be so
too
good.
scared. Like it'd be unbelievably good.
Maybe he could finally play Darth Plagueis.
That would be nice.
Sure.
Why not?
I love, but to your, so like, you know, it's Mary Jane in the Rain. I forget, like, I think she's talking to Peter, and this is when he's like, oh, I took 2 buses and 5 things to see you.
Yeah.
And he's really, I mean, like, at the same time, like, Peter, now she's established your buddy's girlfriend. You never made a move. You kind of need to step back as the friend, I think.
Or
And
step
instead-
forward in a big way.
That's what happens here, though, dude, because what she's coming from an audition.
Yeah,
and he's like,
she beefs it.
I was in the neighborhood and I wanted to see how your audition went or whatever. And then, like, it becomes this thing where the flirting is on and she knows what's
Yes.
going on. And she's like, are you sure you don't want to come to dinner with us?
She
You
might
know?
be doing an E2 Mama Spider-Man situation.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
totally, man. Let's start doing that.
The
I
more
do-
webs, the merrier.
I think they have good chemistry, too, to be honest.
They absolutely do.
And I think, you know, so she's about to get sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
He beats them up as Spider-Man. And I mean, like, another thing I love, it's an iconic shot. Like, literally,
Yep.
it's a
the rain on the
rain-
Hooters.
the upside down kiss.
It's
Yeah,
a thing that's
yeah,
been
yeah,
done
yeah.
to death in
That
parody
part's good,
form,
too.
which
Because-
sucks.
But that's how you know it's an iconic shot.
Well,
Yes.
sure.
Because it like, what are you going to parody from MCU aside from the costumes? You know what I mean? Like, not to be the MCU guy, I do like a lot of those movies, but like, there's no like, holy shit, that shot really captured the
There's some
nation's
Twitter
America.
accounts that'll tell you like
Otherwise-
this sea of CGI is like that's the most beautiful thing in cinema, man.
But like, this is like, holy shit, it's an upside down, and like, you know, it
is
takes its
iconic.
time.
Yeah.
It's an iconography. thing.
Romantic.
It's romantic, Chris. You're right.
It's crazy. And I know this is just like superhero things or whatever, but like you literally seconds before you were mugged, were talking to Peter Parker.
Yes.
And then seconds after you were mugged, you're talking to Spider-Man and you're not recalling the same voice
Just tell
in
her.
under 5 minutes.
Dude, but you know, they weirdly try to lay the groundwork for that when she's walking away from the diner and he's like, MJ. And she's like, fuck off, you loser. Fuck off.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and she's like, she can't. I'm like, you didn't have to tell me that. I would have bought that she can't.
And to be quite honest, there are like 5 dudes at any given time, like walking around this lady, like, you want to get coffee?
This is a sextacular kiss, though.
Buzz off,
There
Jake
is-
Gyllenhaal.
There is no kiss like this in the MCU.
Yes. No, it does not.
Find me one. I'll gladly look at it. But
Yes, it
this
just-
is a sexy, impassioned smooch here,
Even
man.
so much so that I read this on Amazon. It was like, you know, rated PG-13 for, you know, intense images, and sexuality. I'm like, oh, that's nice. That S word is cool.
Yep.
But now it's Thanksgiving, and this is a Thanksgiving movie. It's
Well,
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, American movie, and Spider-Man are Thanksgiving movies.
Before we get to Thanksgiving dinner, we have the burning building.
Oh,
to talk
right,
about.
Right, sure. The goblin sets a building on fire, which I've seen this movie a bunch. I'm so stupid. I didn't put together that, like, clearly the goblins set this fire in the first place. I always was just like, oh, and then the goblin's there, I guess. I don't know. But yes, of course, it's to lure Spider-Man. He saves a baby. The fire department is just like, you know what, ma'am? That baby's going to have to boing.
That's right, Spider-Man. I also blew a pommes frites on 2nd Avenue.
Oh, man, that was a fucking weird day when that
Yeah, it
happened.
turned out the villain there was Con Edison.
Totally.
I don't know what to tell you, lady. I hope you like your son extra crispy.
But then these cops come up to, like, arrest Spider-Man right in that moment.
Because going on in the movie is Jonah Jameson has convinced the world that Spider-Man and Goblin are in it together.
Yeah. So this cop's like, all right, you're coming downtown with us. And he's like, actually, I'm going to go save more people in the building. Like you hear an old lady screaming. And he's like, all right, I'll arrest you when you get back then. And he's like, I'm not coming back, you dumb pig. Bye.
A-cab, motherfuck. Web's out. I mean, I do think it's kind of interesting to make, especially in 2002. I mean, obviously this part was filmed it's not so cop deferential to, you know what I mean? The
Right,
cops are kind
definitely
of
not.
like, you know,
They're there.
they're there, yeah, but
Yeah.
they're also kind of antagonists for poor old Spider-Man, which fits with the comic.
So he goes into the building. There's a little like babushka hiding in the flames, and then dude, that goblin reveal, it is still just laugh out loud hilarious.
It's so good.
And he's got some voice modulator for a woman's scream, I guess.
It's
I
terrifying.
think Dafoe could get there.
Oh, yeah, you think that's
probably
just him?
could.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a scream
great
they've
acting.
used before. It's
Oh, yeah.
it's in movies.
Yeah.
I've heard it before. It's like the Wilhelm.
Oh.
So then basically he's like, I am turning down your offer, Green Goblin. And they get into a big fight. He
This is
cuts-
a good fight.
It is.
This
It is.
looks good. Not only
It
the
is,
fighting
yeah.
stuff, but like the fire all around them and
Yes.
everything.
And the slow jumps and turns while these what do they call these little bombs with the
pumpkin
knife?
bombs.
There
Oh,
you
no,
go.
no, no, no. The knives
These are the flying
yeah.
things. They look like fucking Quidditch
Yeah.
things
Yes.
from Harry Potter.
And we
Fucking,
also do- this is a very-
phantasm balls. or
Yes.
Sam Raimi saw the Matrix because we're doing the full back and like, you know,
Yeah,
the
the
things are
lean
going over
back
him.
and yeah. So this is Thanksgiving.
But he gets cut in the arm, and he
Yes.
just Willem Dafoe shows up to Harry and Peter's amazing apartment. The
Dude,
size of
and
this thing.
Dafoe
Yeah.
just like sweating in that elevator, like I guess sort of transitioning
Yeah.
between Goblin and Norman.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's great.
Well, he didn't get to grab a shower after he did all that. I mean, come on.
Well, work was murder.
Yes.
So,
Oh, it's such a great line, man.
so
Oh.
fucking good.
And it's amazing because he finally meets MJ because he didn't meet her on the balcony, and he's just like, and she is so uncomfortable, like, oh, it's a gross dad situation.
Hey, Dad, what did you mean by work is murder? Weren't you fucking fired? Aren't you like doing nothing? You're just like hanging at home or something?
It is an awesome like when MJ catches him in that like get a good look Costanza moment. His fucking mouth is open,
Yeah,
just like
It's so amazing. And like, you know, they're waiting for Peter. Peter's late, obviously, and he flies under the window and like, oh, Peter's upstairs. They all go upstairs, and like Defoe's like, this kid's a fucking slob.
oh my god, I can't believe I actually thought I was going to hire this young man.
Most geniuses are.
Yeah.
I do like the sort of domestic part of this. And this is very, very old school Spider-Man comic, which is just like, this is my friend, this is my enemy. How do I hide everything all at the same time and all this stuff?
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
juggling all those balls. Like, I like this girl, but my brother.
It's
all
like
of that
your
stuff.
boss is coming over for dinner. kind of
Exactly.
Yep,
thing.
It's
totally.
a big deal thing. And he winds up swinging out, coming in through the front door, makes up some fake story. And
I had to. What does he say? He's like, I had to fight this old lady for the last can of
With a
cranberry
stick.
sauce.
I had to beat her with a stick or
She's
something.
dead now.
oh, and yes, oh, I'm just waiting for my boyfriend to show up. Hello, Bonesaw.
Bonesaw is hungry.
It's just Randy Savage with a fork and a knife in his hands.
I
ready
bought
to
the
go.
candied yams. Store bought. I don't cook.
That doesn't happen. But no, I also love Norman. She's about to say grace. He grabs the fucking thing. She slaps his hand, and he's like, I'm going to kill you, you old lady.
Dude, and this is disgusting
Oh, it's the
because she
finger
yells
sucking?
at him and then he starts licking his fingers and you realize what he's doing there. Norman Osborn barehanded just taking a big old scoop of stuffing? What the fuck?
But it's like,
know.
I'm going to eat before grace because it's sacrilegious.
This is the boys' first Thanksgiving in this apartment, and we're going to do things right.
Now I'm your Lord God.
You know, I wasn't going to blow up your house before, but now
Yeah, I was just going to kidnap you, but now I'm going to blow up your house. and
just
kidnap
wanted some sweet potatoes and marshmallows, and you had to ruin it.
He notices that Peter's bleeding. He realizes, oh shit, he's Spider-Man, and he excuses himself because like, I got to plan this in my evil lair. And this great fucking scene with him and Franco here is like, she's beautiful. Your mother was beautiful. They're all beautiful.
Do what you got to do with her, and then broom her.
Oh, dude, do what you got to do with her.
Yikes. And of course, this is all within earshot. MJ's like, oh, thanks for standing up for me, you asshole. This is a disastrous
Your dad
Thanksgiving
just
dinner.
told you to rail me in front of Aunt May. Thanksgiving is now officially ruined.
Rail me and then get rid of me as soon as humanly possible.
It's a great line, though, because
Oh, he's going to hit it and quit it, is he? I've been there, sweetheart. You better dump him first.
Oh, I'm used to the old fucking run.
Franco is like, oh, you heard that? And she's like, everybody heard that creep.
That creep is my father.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm a dumb meathead.
It's so good, though, because he's just a little, I'm Norman Osborn's little son.
Yeah.
And
He plays it
even
really well.
Aunt May like scolds like, oh, Harry Osborn, don't you talk like that. Like, this is a Cassavetes-esque Thanksgiving, man.
And that's because Franco read for wanted to be Spider-Man, obviously, and then they were like, "Oh, you'd be good for Harry Osborn," because they get it. Like, he's unlikable. Like, that's the point. You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of likable, but he's also like, you're not going to root for that guy. Like, if you're Spider-Man, you're like, that guy's a kind of a scumbag. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And we keep rolling on. Aunt May hilariously on her knees in front of her bed saying her prayers. Kaboom! Another explosion. Kidnapped.
Finish it.
deliver us from evil.
And this is all because of his stupid fucking excuse. Like, oh, bike messenger clipped me.
Yeah.
Definitely not a goblin gash.
Sorry, Aunt May got goblin
It's like,
gashed.
okay, yeah, it's Peter Parker.
So now he's going to fuck with Peter Parker, ruin his life. Aunt May is taken to the hospital for goblin-related
For being
trauma.
dead?
I would think.
After
They
this,
fixed her, though. They fixed her.
It's a fucking pretty gnarly class 3 goblin bite, dude. So she's in the hospital like indefinitely, and she's like, you know, Peter, I was almost murdered today. You should really go for it with your friend Mary Jane.
Before I leave this mortal coil, I'd like you to get it wet.
Please lose your virginity before I die.
Don't make me tell Saint Peter that I let a virgin live in my house to the day I died. Don't do that to me, Peter.
Because Aunt May has overheard a prior hospital conversation where Peter and MJ are like kind of holding hands,
They're
yada
going
yada.
for it, yeah.
Harry blows that up by walking into the room, sees them holding hands, and it's like, we weren't doing anything.
There are plenty of just, little offices in this hospital here that you could just take her into and have sex with her.
A lot of empty break rooms around here.
Just so I could die happy, Peter.
Fuck her on a CAT scan machine.
Better take your watch off first.
Scan that booty. Look for infections.
Haven't you? I mean, God damn it. Have you seen any pornography? Hospitals are natural settings.
Man, fucking Harry Osborn goes home and does like, oh man, fucking Peter. And like he tells Norman that like he loves her more than anyone. So now put a fucking target on your girlfriend's back. Okay.
Totally. And that's what happens here. It's, Peter is like, you know what, Aunt May, you're totally right. I'm going to give her a call right now. He calls MJ's apartment and it's like, Mary Jane Watson's house, Green Goblin. I love that the Green Goblin picks up the phone at this apartment. It's so great. And it leads us
Hold on. How do I use your Nokia cell phone? I don't have one of these. Is it a flip? It slides. I can't figure it out. Now it's chirping at me.
believe it or not, MJ isn't at home. Please leave a message.
Peter, you're the only one that called this number. It was no auditions, no callbacks whatsoever.
Absolutely none, of course.
This girl's going nowhere, Parker.
Voicemail was bone dry.
She's off Broadway.
Yeah.
As in she isn't on it or even off it.
She's in the river. That's how far off Broadway she is. Yeah, but this leads into the final sequence of the movie. The Goblin kidnaps her, drops her on top of the 59th Street Bridge in order to lure Spider-Man, and this is the great choice. We're sort of course, these movies, and it looks like this new one's doing it too. We cannot help referencing the Gwen Stacy thing. I mean, in the Garfield series, we do it.
Yes.
But this is sort of that, right? We're on the Queensboro Bridge, and it's like, I'm going to drop MJ simultaneously with the Roosevelt Island tramway car with a bunch of like Boy Scouts in it, or a kids group or something. Which, like, what are we doing taking kids out to Roosevelt Island, by the way?
There's nothing out there.
There
Creeptown.
To sell them, of course.
There are baseball fields there. I don't know if they're being demolished now, dude. What's funny is like one of the buildings they eventually throw Spider-Man in, I think, is one of those derelict structures that is now being destroyed because they're building like a Cornell.
Those are it's already built, dude.
Oh, it's already built now?
Yeah, I was looking at it because where the big fight takes place, and it's all these like rundown whatever. That is now, there's a gorgeous building that's been built over that.
Interesting.
Yeah,
You know, I would actually recommend, if people do like tourist shit in New York, go to 59th Street, take this tram.
The tram is super fun.
It's just like a subway swipe.
Yeah.
Go there and just come back.
Yeah.
But it's very cool because you're on this like gondola cable car.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Good
Yeah.
views of the city and everything.
Nothing to do on Roosevelt.
Yeah, when you get to Roosevelt Island, there's nothing there.
No.
Just come right back. It's just mainly residential.
You may be able to get a coffee.
Yes.
Maybe.
Dude, we went there once. Everyone, it was like the village of the damned. Everyone was looking at
They
us.
look
like,
at you.
What are you doing?
They
here?
know, dude. Outlander. Outlander.
I always kind of liked walking around Roosevelt Island because it does feel like some weird like Soviet satellite state.
Yeah, and
or
everyone
something.
definitely does.
pink skin and pale blue eyes.
Yeah. That's why I felt at home.
Are you here for the wicker furniture? We specialize in wicker furniture.
You come to Roosevelt Island of your own accord.
I mean, it's a cool place where like they don't even allow you really to drive a car on the island full time. There's like, if you drive onto it, there's a parking lot where you have to like leave your car and then walk into it.
Yeah, and you can only get there from the Queens side. There's like a small bridge.
That's right.
Oh, a bike, eh? No, that won't do at all. Add it to the bike fire.
There's a good moment here. What I do like about the Raimi movies do this with Spider-Man, and I guess it's also partially because like you can't see his mouth at all. But when he's looking and seeing like the tramway situation and MJ, he just has because the Goblin throws a bunch of Goblin bombs into the tramway's like main building or whatever and blows it up. And it's a shot of Spider-Man looking down at it, and he just says like, "Goblin, what have you done?" But because you can't see his face, you can envision the comic book thought bubble.
Yes, yeah.
You know, in place of like spoken dialogue.
Definitely.
It works either way, which is cool.
And like this is when he's holding up the tram, he's holding up MJ, he's like trying to bounce around. And of course we get the post 9/11. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
Yeah, totally. I mean, here's the thing. New Yorkers, in many ways, we're a lot like the Bundy family on Married with Children. We can be terrible to each other, but the second an outsider tries to be terrible to us, we all gather around each other and fight back against that person.
Because we're competitive. We don't like anybody being better at it than we are.
Yep.
We're going to hate you. We're going to be the best at it.
My big question is like, where are they getting all these sticks and bricks on the bridge?
I mean, it's great that they're throwing like garbage at him. I think he's getting hit with a soda can.
It would be great if the Goblin's like, "Oh yeah," and just fucking mows them down.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, unseen until this moment, Goblin weapon, flamethrower on his wrist.
Yeah. Or maybe make some skeletons again. We only saw that once.
Yes, it's true.
I guess I'm fine dealing with all of you.
Gonna be a bunch of skeletons wearing Yankee caps.
So he, of course, Peter Parker saves both the tram car and Mary Jane. Thankfully, because a barge is coming down the river and they are able to land the car and Mary Jane on that. We go to fight on Roosevelt Island here. One of the only probably action sequences in history to take place on Roosevelt Island.
It's a cool
this
fight.
fight's great.
It is.
It's a really good fight.
It's brutal. Like you really like. The movie doesn't have a lot of fights in it, and this one really kind of makes up for it.
And they do remind you that, like, when Norman is originally breathing all the gas or whatever, it's kind of funny because they did Steve, you already mentioned it, like pre and post Tobey working out thing. Yeah. They didn't do it with Dafoe, but there's a computer thing in that experiment room that definitely says, like, his muscle mass will get bigger. There's no change in Dafoe, but he's doing like jump kicks and flips and shit.
He's beating the shit out of Spider-Man.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Totally
can't
brutal.
show it because you can't improve on perfection.
No, that's true. But yeah, so then he has to, like, Spider-Man kind of gets the upper hand, and this is a lot of like, "Oh no, Peter, it's me, it's Norman. Oh, Peter, you gotta help me. Oh, I'm so thankful for you now."
I think it's like hit with a brick wall and then punched in the face a bunch. It's nice. Yeah, that's what he does.
Spider-Man like drops a whole brick fucking structure on him like an action figure commercial.
You can help me.
Yes, and while he's doing, he's like, and set glider to kill here.
Yeah.
Oh, Peter,
I've been like a father to you. And he's got the great line that, I had a father. His name was Ben Parker. That's the uncle.
To which
amazing.
Willem Dafoe just replies, "Godspeed, Spider-Man." And I love that though the glider has like silent mode, like an electric car.
Yes.
It's just like,
yeah. And
You're
the
right, that's
knives come out.
it's a good emotional ending for this
It
character.
ties it up.
Yep.
And there's another scene we didn't talk about. I love the scene with him and Aunt May on the bed after graduation, where he's just like, he's in
What are
tears.
they
Really-
soaking or?
they were not soaking,
Okay.
but no, just like he's like really
forgot.
upset I couldn't save him, blah blah blah. It's like, oh, he would have been proud of you. I mean, it's good Tobey Maguire acting. He has a really good chemistry with Rosemary
Harris.
as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, totally.
But he's like, all right, arrivederci, Spider-Man.
And
Yeah.
this dude, Spider-Man jumps out of the way thanks to the spider senses. This spiky goblin glider hits this man in the crotch.
We get a fucking brief moment of instead of
Yes.
like mother.
Yes,
I
it's
love
so
injecting
good.
that.
It's a great Sam Raimi. It's a cut in. He's and he's dead.
Yep. And he,
So yeah, his dick is obliterated. You're saying?
I mean, because when you look at it,
Yeah.
there's like the glider, and then right above the glider is like his abs. So like
Yeah.
there
That's
ain't
a
much
fucking-
more real estate, man.
Woo, man, that's super circumcision, right?
Because I
there.
think that also
Undone by my own horse cock, Spider-Man.
you could say in the one hand his line of "Don't tell Harry"
Yes.
is for like "Don't tell Harry I was the Green Goblin," but I think also maybe it could be "Please don't tell Harry his father died by getting stabbed in the cock."
It works both ways for sure.
Yeah.
Don't tell him how big it is. He won't be able to live up to it. It will haunt him.
he brings the body of Norman Osborn home, and briefly Franco sees him, and is just like, now he's forever traumatized with the idea that Spider-Man was like chopping his dick up or something.
No, yeah, at that point, you should have paid a bone saw to fucking bring this body back up there.
Totally.
Just to evade this whole thing. You
You want me to what? Wow, what'd you do with his dick?
Look, I beat you in combat. You should do this for me.
I didn't do that. I'm just dropping bodies off. What are you gonna do about it, James Franco?
And from then on, I always swore I'd kill Bones.
See?
My mortal enemy is Bonesaw McGraw.
And then his vengeance is done in what, 2 days?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's nothing.
God, that would be
You
great.
just spike his fucking pills. But also, apparently, there is like end tables all around the Osborn estate with fucking handguns in them. Because he's just like,
He pulls out a gun.
He
yeah.
sees he's
Oh,
Spider-Man.
that's right.
He just pulls out like just a random end table gun.
Yeah.
Dude, well, that's the thing, man.
America,
when
baby.
you're in like that, dude, like
Yeah.
you got it wherever you reach. I have to be within arm's reach of a gun at all times.
Yeah, for
I think
sure.
that's the idea. So yeah, he vows revenge on Spider-Man. He tells Spider-Man as such at his father's funeral. He says it to Peter. He's like, "I'm gonna get that fucking Spider-Man, dude. One way or another, I'm gonna kill this guy."
And it's cool though because it's like, but you're all Peter, you're my only family now, and it's like you get
Yep.
like again that's that very Spider-Man-y thing, that the tension between the two things.
Yeah, it's really great here, and it winds up being run out of gas by the time you get to the third one.
Oh, big
but like
time.
for now, it's totally fine. This is also a great MJ's like, when I was gonna lose my life, my thoughts all went to you, Peter, and he's like, that's cool, but knowing that danger will come for whoever's important to Spider-Man.
I feel like there needs to be like a force ghost of like Uncle Ben being like, I didn't tell you to be sexless. Go with the girl. What are you doing?
Figure it out later, Peter. Do what you want with her and broom her. Why is everyone always saying that about
what
me?
does that mean? Everyone wants to broom this girl.
Now everyone's now ghosts are telling people to hit it and quit it. What the fuck, man?
No, Peter.
I'm a person.
Peter, just tell her you're not into anything serious right now. It's very easy.
And she's just like, only a friend, and he goes, that's all I have to give, which I think is a great line.
She does kiss him, and she does do the thing where like, wait a second,
Totally. And then
Well,
who am I? I'm Spider-Man.
and I love Lady America, baby.
Oh, dude, yeah, you're hanging your little spider self on that flagpole right by the Right by the red, white, and blue.
And
Oh, yeah.
they say that a hero will save us. I'm not gonna stand here and wait.
Now, did I read the credits wrong there? Is this a solo Chad Kroeger
It's
song?
a solo Chad
yeah.
Kroeger, but he brings
Ooh.
in the guy from Saliva, ladies and gentlemen.
What's Saliva?
It was another one of those bands.
Yeah, yeah.
It's new metal-y band.
That's awful. I was misremembering because the second movie's credits has, if you're into that stuff, a real banger Dashboard Confessional song, but then also the Ramones doing the Spider-Man theme
Yes.
song, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
cool. This movie is Chad Kroeger and then just the television theme song.
No, you're missing the Sum 41 song.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Ooh, I forgot about that one.
Wow.
That was asshole clenching.
It's like all bad, but everything's bad and always has and always will be. I mean, music now is awful too.
I
That
bought a
second
couple of
sequel-
Sum 41 albums. I will admit it.
I definitely had that. The one with the fat lip. I definitely
Yes.
had that one.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the second sequel, it has like an original Spoon song. It's a weird soundtrack.
yeah.
Well, the Strokes are on this soundtrack
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
So are the
them too.
Hives.
in two, though.
No, in the first one.
The Strokes are in the
The
first
Strokes
one?
are in the
the
first
Strokes
one.
were, I did see them in the credits.
Oh,
I
so
forget
it is,
where it
remember?
was.
When I something fuck.
I'll pull it up
Oh.
right now. Oh, 'cause
Oh.
I was listening to it on the way here. Get in the mood for Spider-Man. There's also an Aerosmith cover of the Spider-Man song, which sucks. It did
Yeah.
not
Oh,
make the
no.
credits.
Yeah, that's really terrible. Where was that ever released? Because I've heard it before.
When It Started is the Strokes song, and then Hate to
Oh,
Tear
when
It
it started. Okay.
Told You So. There's a Pete Yorn on here, Macy Gray and Todd Morello, obviously, and theme for Spider-Man, Aerosmith. I don't know.
Oh, weird. All right. Well, whatever. But yeah, so this movie, man, I gotta say, holds up. We'll start with you, Steve. Final thoughts?
Yeah, I love this movie. Again, it's a warts and all situation, but I think that's okay because it is emblematic of its time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, obviously, like being so post 9/11, like by minutes practically,
Yeah.
and sitting in New York, it's got a lot of weight on its shoulders. But I think Maguire's fantastic. I think he hits the nail just right. I think Dafoe, it's an amazing villain performance. Up there with any of them. And the whole cast is great. And Raimi fucking gets it, man. Raimi really has a lot of fun with this. And he elevates the material while respecting it, as opposed to just, I don't know, like just it feels like a Spider-Man movie, and I will always love it for that. And I love the second one as well.
Chris Cabin.
And it feels like a movie, which is nice, isn't it? Nice that we're not going to the theater to see a television program worth $1 billion. Yeah, I love this movie. It is probably among my top 3 favorite superhero movies. It's way up there. I think Dafoe is one of the best villains we've ever had for a superhero movie. That just might be because I'm a huge Dafoe guy. But yeah, the direction's perfect. And it's so well edited and it's so fast. Like it usually, another thing with these MCU is like everything's so staid. Everything is at this very perfect pace. We've all thought this all through.
Right.
This, it's like frenetic and it really excites you. And that's what a movie like this should do. So yeah, I love it.
2 hours and 1 minute. By the way.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to repeat my esteemed colleagues, but I agree with every single thing they said. I mean, I think this is up there with the Burton Batmans for me. It's very distinct. You got it's directed by a director, which is amazing, which is fantastic. Yeah, I had something else to say. I might be losing the thread here, but I love this movie.
I will say Dafoe is up there with my, I don't know like what the order would be, but he is in the top 4 of my favorite comic book movie villains that also rope in Nicholson's Joker, DeVito's Penguin, and Pfeiffer's Catwoman.
Yeah.
And then also, I guess, roped into that top 5, you also have Hackman as Lex Luthor for me. But like that's like how much I think of this Dafoe performance.
I remember what I was going to say. If people haven't checked it out, listening, check out Darkman, the Sam Raimi movie.
Ooh.
Fucking great movie that is very proto. I want to direct a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a huge comic book fan. Like that was one of the reasons that got him the job.
Right.
You know
And
what
wouldn't you know it, like sometimes being a huge comic book fan can work in your favor, bringing a movie to life. I just think about like that last like TNG movie where they hired that dude and he was like, I didn't watch any Star Trek. Like familiarity with the product should be up there.
I mean? And there's no brand consciousness here. Again, I do like a lot of MCU movies, and I will repeat again, Homecoming is a great Spider-Man movie with a lot of Iron Man shit in it that I don't care for, but it's a great Spider-Man movie. But there's no brand consciousness here. It's like, let's take whatever the Spider-Man thing is and blow it the fuck up.
Yep. It's also not like looking ahead to the next thing.
Nope.
It's a movie that is concerning itself with the story that it's telling and not the next 15
Yeah,
stories.
no, Spider-Man, like, you could put him in the MCU. Friends could stop by from time to time, but I would love to see him in New York City helping average, regular people.
Fantastic point.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
you're right.
Exactly.
No, I mean, you say that, but I mean, there was that, but Jim Norton does become Doc Ock in the second one.
Thank God that didn't happen.
That is going to do it for this episode on Spider-Man from 2002, directed by the great Sam Raimi. Catch him, I guess, entering the MCU with his Doctor Strange 2. We'll see if his name even fucking stays on it. As always, though, you can find more We Hate Movies over on Patreon, patreon.com/We Hate Movies. There's another We Love Movies episode on there this month, talking about Ridley Scott's Alien, which is really great. We got a Once in a Lifetime episode on Merry In-Laws, starring George Wendt and Shelley Long as the Clauses, which is great.
The horniest clauses of all.
Big time, big time.
Yes, we're talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi on the Gleep Glossary, and of course on the Nexus level, our Star Trek podcast. We're doing a full episode, big bad boy episode on Star Trek Generations.
Hell yeah.
And we're doing a big bad boy episode on Animation Damnation on Toy Story. We might be putting out too much content on
That's true.
the Patreon this month. Maybe we have to look redacted.
If you sign up, by the way, you don't just get that. You get everything we've ever done. You get the past December's episodes. You get all the year's episodes. We've been doing WLMs all year.
Yeah.
All years long. We've been doing this for our entire lives.
Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, like so much shit on there.
Yes.
That
Just peruse it. You go to WHMpodcast.com, click on the shows under the WHM Prime, scroll down, look at what's marked patron only. You might be surprised.
And for you MCU heads, an Iron Man episode, FYI.
Yeah,
That's
which
right.
we
That's on there,
like.
too.
Which we like.
Solid stuff. But here, of course, on the main feed, We Love Movies Month will continue next week as well. Steve, what are we talking about then?
We are talking about a man that almost directed this movie, Chris Columbus. It's one of his best, if not his absolute best, Home Alone.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be. We're gonna devote some time to that motion picture. It's gonna be great. Oh my god, banger fucking score.
So yeah,
banger lots. Of
next
stuff.
week, another little kid in trouble.
That's right. So until then, I'm Andrew Jupin.
Steven Sadak.
Eric Siska.
Chris Gavin is ready.
Take it easy. That worked that time.
That was a HeadGum podcast.